basically, last time on Tale of Gielinor, we were finally able to go under the trenches of, that's probably the wrong word, Ardoing, and wait, yeah, okay, we got up to that part, and
Metaphorical
then we started
trenches.
fighting more. What was that?
Metaphorical trench.
Metaphorical trenches. We fought whatever, like, basically we kind of stopped Adrian Bold from doing what, well, okay, Adrian Bold wasn't there, but I forget the name of that one noble.
Bueno.
Aldueno, there we go. We stopped him from basically turning Adrian Bold into some kind of a monster. They all, like, basically everyone died, and a dragon appeared at some point, like, and kind of chased us out, and we were able to kind of wait it out. The dragon kind of didn't, like, very happily, it didn't try to attack the group. Well, it did try to attack the group, but like later on, it didn't, like, destroy the city. So that's good. And now we are on the boat, on our way to Ashdale, after Alcana had a nice little meeting with the Raven. Except it wasn't very nice. We're now scared.
I mean, you don't know for certain it was a raven. I mean, maybe it was just a nice old lady.
Nice old lady with the sudden drawl. Yeah, we don't know, really.
So, this is where you were. But I want to focus right now not on where all of you are, but instead, more specifically, on where you are, Logie.
Okay.
So, Logie, I'm figuring out what I want to use for the background for this. Logie, you wake up having not gotten into appropriate lodgings the night before, into appropriate a tent or a sleeping bag or anything. As you sort of blink away the light of the sun shining down directly in your eyes, feeling the familiar sway of this boat around you, you find that you are sprawled out full length on the boards of this ship, of the Swift Blade, as you, not the Swift Blade, sorry, of the Broken Wave. Swift Blade is the other ship. But as you sort of get up onto your, onto the flesh of your palms and sit up, you look around and you see the rest of your crew aren't there. Alcana's not at the helm. You don't hear the buzz of Dawn's wings. You don't see Nia or Nautrix. You only see one figure sitting at the prow of the boat, an old man. As you look around, it seems you're in the middle of the ocean. No land at any point on the horizon line.
And it's dark out?
No, it looks like it's about midday.
Oh. Hello?
Oh, hello.
Oh shit, here we go again. Hi there.
Do you approach him?
Sure.
So as you walk up to him, you see this wizened face, bald head. He's kind of sitting with one of his legs straddling the edge of the boat, sort of pointing down towards the water. And it takes you maybe a second to recognize him because the last time you saw him, the wings made a much larger impression and they don't seem to be there anymore.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi. Do you remember?
He turns, the heavy-lidded eyes open a bit wider. You can see the sort of grayish blue underneath. He studies you for a second. Oh, yes, you. I think I know you. You used my weapon.
Uh, yes, I did.
How was it?
It was very useful, actually.
Yes, very useful. Ah, very few like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
There's very few weapons like that. It is a rare one. You make good use of it.
Yes, well, I don't think there's a lot of people like you either.
Maybe not. The weapon you do not use it to hurt someone who is innocent. You use it to hurt someone who is deserving it.
Uh, yeah, yes, I think so.
Mm.
So, how are you here?
Oh, I am here. I am other places. Maybe I am not even real. ah. So your task. How is your progress with that?
Which task?
Last time you were seeing me, well, I am not there anymore, but last time you were seeing me, you were given a task. How is your progress with that?
Oh, that one. I think I've learned more, but I'm not sure if I can. I'm not sure if I can go all the way yet.
It is a decision you may need to be making soon. Uh, if you need to speak more, well, you know where to go.
I I suppose so.
You see his brow kind of furrow, and he looks around, sort of the head suddenly looking a lot stronger as it darts from side to side, scanning the horizon. Oh, it is here.
What's here?
You did not say that it is here.
What is it?
You see, Logi, that the rocking of the boat, creating a wake around it, starts to increase, though you can see it more than feel it. See those choppy waves off the side of the boat getting larger and larger. And as you follow this man's gaze down to the water, you see this dark shadow, something underneath, rising and rising. And you think it's about to surface, but it keeps coming bigger and bigger until the entirety of the circumference of the boat, and then twice that, and then nearly the entirety of the sea out to the horizon line is marked by this dark shadow coming up from the depths underneath. And right as you can now suddenly feel the tossing of the boat, feel that it is about to surface, you open your
I
eyes.
wake up. Yeah, yeah.
Of course. You see all of your crewmates alongside you, at their stations. seems like you maybe slept in a little bit more today, but it hasn't been a particularly long journey. This the the Broken Wave is a very swift ship. It is actually I should go ahead and figure out exactly how long this journey would take. Let me look at the map here. Yeah, actually, I think you could make this trip in about a full day.
Wow, that's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time at all. Ooh.
Yeah. Barely enough time. How did they even manage to fall asleep?
No, I mean, you get like when I say a full day, I mean like a full day. You guys set off late in the afternoon, so probably like making a comfortable trip of it, it would take like, you know, you'd have 1 day of travel and then uh get to your destination morning of the third day. But anyways, you look around to your crewmates and you see Notrix and Dawn going over a few exercises which they've been seem to have been really focused on over the past day. I want to ask Notrix and Dawn, how have uh, how have you trained together? How have you helped Dawn learn a little bit more of the druidic arts?
Well, we were going over a lot of wild shape stuff recently. I could see maybe Dom was asking uh Matrix a little about how uh like how to I don't know, make more friends with animals. Like maybe he's trying to turn into his little ferret form that he gained at the zoo. Maybe Matrix is giving him little tips on actions might be a little easier.
So Don wants to know more about wild shape and, I assume, druidic spells?
I'd say spells, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know exactly how you teach a druidic spell in this universe, but I say they've got a quiet corner of the ship, if there is such a thing, and
Yeah.
I'm imagining a very small classroom sort of thing, where there's just this tiny chair with just Don in it, and
He's
something,
at a desk.
something approximating a blackboard, and
Just like set up a crate on its side and like put some tar paper over it and a hunk of chalk.
Yeah.
yeah, and Octopus is standing out the front, just saying, "Oh yes, this is a spell, and this is a spell, and this is how you do this." For
So you think I could
the day.
handle that one? I mean, actually, what am I talking about? Of course I can handle it.
You'll be fine. It's not like it's dangerous. I mean, it probably is, but look, try to use more powerful magics more sensibly.
Sensibly? What do you mean sensibly? I always use them sensibly.
Of course you did, but try and use them more sensibly.
Okay. I think a sensible way for me to use it would be, you know how you always, what's it called? Conjure animals?
Mhm.
And by that, I mean, you conjure giant spiders all the time.
That is something I'm known to do. Yes.
How big can you make them?
I believe the size I usually summon them is the around what you'd expect, really. I don't have a great deal of control over the size.
So you can't control whether you or not you want to make them like 10 feet tall, or like Because think about it.
Oh yes, I can choose to summon small ones or big ones, and I can actually summon more small ones than I can big ones.
Do you think that if I were to summon like maybe a one like dog sized, right? I could train it to use its web as a lasso to grab at people's teeth and yank them out.
I guess I'm not sure spider web is is strong enough for that purpose, but well, it
Eh.
might be. I don't know. How much force do you need? You're the expert on teeth. How much force do you need to yank out someone's tooth with the spider web?
At least, how much force do teeth break? At least at least like 200 pounds. I really have to yank at it.
That's a lot of effort. But
Yeah, no. So it takes a lot of wiggling. So I was
you could
thinking,
try.
yeah, I was thinking like if a spider is strong enough to use 200 pounds, like that's like how much it takes to just like yank it in one pull. Like I'm not that strong, therefore like I gotta wiggle it a little bit. And it's kind of like torturous, but
I-
yeah.
I don't know the maths on this. I'm afraid.
Hmm.
But
I'd
you could try.
but
I'm very interested in at least watching whatever the hell happens when you would try to attempt this.
all right, teach me how
Although-
to catch some spiders.
You can't really train the spider because it only lasts for an hour, but you can tell it what to do.
Can I summon the same spider every time? Or is it always a different spider? Or is it the same spider, but is the spider is its mind wiped?
That's not a question.
Notrix,
Oh.
yeah, as your mind reels from Don's questions, you find that if anything, his inquisitiveness reflects a little bit more of a willingness to learn. And you find that it's really only after about, a full, very packed, but very productive day that you can already see results in Don, that it seems like perhaps Don's come a bit more into himself, understands himself a little better. Perhaps he's not quite the dum dum that you've thought at times in the past, but he makes progress, and you think this fairy might actually have some promise as a druid. And
Right.
Don, you are level 8.
I'm feeling level 8. It's great. Well, I'm actually level 5 because I'm level 3 rogue.
Yeah. And I say that Logi, with your sort of odd insight into yourself in this dream, you also feel a little bit more in command of your powers. But
Okay.
it is. Oh, what's that?
I guess I should add those at that level.
It's up to you. So, it's the next day, very early. Alcana at the helm, you know that you are probably only about an hour out from Ashdale. And Notrix, as you are out here, sort of standing on the deck, maybe you're helping to load the coal into the furnace on this ship, you suddenly get a little bit of a buzz in the back of your mind. A message. The voice of Toothpicks. Notrix, where are you now? I was in Glendale on business. The tavern where we met. There's a strange messenger. I think it's waiting for you.
I'm in at Ashdale. I think I'll be able to drop off there after I finish in Ashdale.
Yeah, you don't get a reply, but you also know that's not how the spell works, and you'd have to cast it again to get a reply. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you just sort of take this in, reflect on it.
Messenger. Well, Gondar is quite near Ashdale. Yeah, that works.
And Logi, remember I let you re-roll ones for HP, and you also get a little bonus for one of your dwarven features.
Oh, okay. I'll reroll that HP.
I'm gonna risk it. Biscuit.
Oh, it's set to 2 GM, but I guess that's okay for HP.
Yeah.
So, just want to ask before you guys make landfall, do any of you want to establish anything else that happens on this trip across the unquiet ocean?
Yes. Something.
Can we be kidnapped by pirates and then get to the other side of the world in an epic adventure and then come back in the spell?
Can we not?
I mean, I'd be okay with that. No, I think the only thing that Nia would really do, because she doesn't have a bonus to seafaring, in case you didn't know. So she'd be kind of useless.
Yeah. That's actually at the end of the last session, or in between sessions, when I had you all roll d20s to see if any of you got high enough to boost up your seafaring. Unfortunately, none of you did.
Rip. No, I think as we're getting closer to the port, I think Nia's going to take that time to paint a picture of Ashdale from the sea, because she can do that because she has proficiency with painting supplies.
Oh yeah, nice. Just for fun, why don't you go ahead and roll your painter's tools?
Any skill in particular, or
I'd say it's going to be either wisdom, dex, or intelligence. Yeah, nice. I'd say Alcana, you actually sort of notice, maybe you hand the helm off to Logi or someone else who's a proficient seafarer, glance over at Nia's work and you see this very well rendered sort of just, I don't know, is it more impressionistic or is it more kind of classic realist? Is it more of a like an oils? What kind of a style of painting is this?
she does a Bob Ross style painting.
So just very nice, efficient watercolors. Yeah, you see this happy little island on Nia's canvas, and it's very, very well rendered. Though as you're getting closer, you can see that she maybe had to improvise the last few strokes of this because as you get closer to Ashdale, you're starting to come into sort of the marine layer, into the cloud cover. It's still morning and it hasn't burned off yet.
Wow, that's really good.
Huh? Oh, thanks. I have a lot of practice.
Clearly.
Though I must admit, I have never painted Ashdale before, from any angle. I've never been here.
Well, from someone who was born and raised there, I'd say you did a pretty good job.
Thanks.
Alcana, as you take the helm again, steer the ship into Ashdale Harbor proper, you find that your family is placed on the docks, which is it's a dock slip more towards the edge of the large fishing piers that are here on Ashdale. Always been one of the more sort of sparser parts of the docks, and you're fortunate enough to find that while you can recognize your father's fishing boat there, that the smaller skiff that your family also had is no longer there or happens to be out or something. At any rate, there's an empty dock space for you to slot the broken wave right into. As you press through the low fog, you can hear the hollow thunk, the groan of wood from these old salt scarred ships kind of bumping against each other and the piers. You can hear a faint tinkle of a concertina coming somewhere through the fog. You don't see any people around, not at this hour. This hour, all of the fishing ships have either already left or they haven't come back yet. You can hear a low groan coming from the faint bulk of the headland through the murk, the sound of a foghorn. And as you bring down the engines on the broken wave, step off the boat, you can see you are home.
She would probably take a moment to just kind of breathe in the air, kind of holding up her hands above her eyes, because I imagine there's a little bit of sun glare, although not necessarily as much because fog cover. Yeah, she's just kind of taking it in while she waits for everyone else to disembark.
So, this is where you live?
Ah, yep. Born and raised.
Oh, is it normally this foggy?
I don't know, is it?
I'd say this time of year, it's you do get a bit of a marine layer, but because the island is sort of a lot of it is just built on these high limestone bluffs, uh, a lot of times that marine layer actually rests below the level of most of the town.
I mean, wouldn't exactly say it happens all the time, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah. You know, I wouldn't expect a bunch of Saradoman knights to be on an island like this.
I think you're confusing some things. The Monastery of St. Domus is up in Edgeville. Or around the general region. This is just, you know, a place.
Oh, your Shield Sworn buddies ain't here?
No, yeah.
Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
you have your hometown and then you go out into the big world. Not the same place, but
As the group debarks, I want to ask where does Dawn position himself?
Well, I think it would dawn on Don, haha, that, you know, he doesn't think that being seen would be as, like, you know, fine as being seen on Ardoing. Like, he probably expects, like, oh, people might freak out if they see a fairy. So, can he, like, I don't know, now that he's had some of this druidic, practice, do you think that he can look around and, like, see if he could find, like, I don't know, an animal or something to turn?
That seems like a little bit of a stretch. You know, if you want to say that he turns into an animal, that's fine. But as you guys start walking up the docks, you can hear much more loudly now. You can't hear any voices, but you can hear kind of a concertina going, sort of just noodling around. And you can see sort of faintly the figure sitting on the edge of this sort of lime wall that marks the terrace going down to the docks. He's sort of sitting on like a half height barrel. He's slightly portly. He has a pair of dark shades on. He's just noodling with this concertina, and you can see that there's a small, not actually that small. If anything, it's a bit fat, of a green parrot on his shoulder. He's got maybe a slightly pirate thing going on. This parrot has a pretty robust body. Its wings, though, are very short, almost like flippers. And it's just kind of occasionally giving a little bit of a whistle.
Hey, can Dawn turn into? Okay, I know that Dawn can't turn into like flying things yet, but what if it's like a parrot that can't fly?
Oh, well, you'll need to spend a bit of time examining this parrot, getting familiar with it.
Do I have to get up close to it?
I think you do.
Don's gonna look around and see if there's a little spot where he could hide. Like, kind of get close to it. And I mean, is this guy look like he's gonna move anytime soon?
He's just sitting there, kind of playing this concertina.
In that case, I'm gonna try to find like a barrel or something for Don to like kind of slip into, and like just peek out and just stare at this parrot for a little bit. Wait, does he need to touch
Sure.
it?
Roll a stealth check.
Roll a stealth check.
Yeah, you manage to get pretty close, like sort of just right behind this guy.
And I'd like to examine the parrot.
All right, Don, you start examining the parrot. Are the rest of you walking close to this guy, or are you going to try to avoid him?
Thinking that Elkanah might be slightly curious, but not so much to approach him directly. Like, is this
Yeah.
somebody she knows or recognizes?
No, it's not someone that you know or recognize, but he's sitting right out here on the docks, and so because there are these piers, it's not like there's a ton of room to maneuver around him. You're going to pass by him anyways.
I don't think that she would intentionally try to, she would probably just try to continue on her way.
I think Logi's going to follow up behind Arcana, but he's sort of eyeing the guy to see if there's anything out of the ordinary.
I'd say that he probably, if you're not trying to be weird about it, probably hear like the sound of your armor, your footsteps creaking on the boards of the pier. And as you start to pass, he calls out, "Oh, hello there! If you want to hear a tale of the North or any other fine sagas, just toss me a few coppers and I'll regale you with tales of the olden days."
Tales of the North.
Or I can sing you a tale of Surian. Everyone loves tales of Surian.
Well,
say I was exactly expecting to listen to a bard this morning.
well, good sir, I'm afraid I don't have any coppers. But what's your best story for a silver?
Oh, for a silver, sir. Oh, well, I have some fine stories to tell you. Toss one my way, and me and my friend here will regale you with a fine saga.
And I do toss him a silver.
You toss it, and you see that the parrot actually like catches the coin out of midair in its beak, and sort of leans over to where you see there's like a little tin can on the ground before him, and just plops it right in. I'd say you'd also notice as the guy is calling out to you, he never moves his head to face you. He never looks like he's looking at you. He just keeps his head sort of in the same position. But he takes out his concertina is already out, but he sort of settles it a little bit more comfortably in his lap, and he starts to play.
Whoa.
In wintertide, Fremonic were in distress, for by the demon wolf they all were oppressed, until with Sarkatian's presence they're blessed.
What? He should mind his own business.
He sailed to an isle ever bathed in night, and pierced the dark tower with Ceridomin's light. Two Yeti rushed forth with their terrible might.
What? Then he was too chicken to fight.
Past rhyme strangled halls where strange evils did lurk. Sir Ian and his brave servants pushed through the murk. A peasant boy cut down a beast with his dirk.
What? Sounds like he did all the work.
At last at its peak was a dreadful surprise. A panther fiend marked them with its baleful eyes, but to Ian's sword it soon met its demise.
What? All lies.
Oh, a tale of the North. Sir Ian's tale of the North.
Wow, that was pretty good.
That was so good. Oh my god.
That's the most convincing
Wow.
parrot noise I've heard today.
Ever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it didn't like cut out or anything. It was great. Holy shit.
I'm still not sure I believe that wasn't just a real parrot.
Yeah, Ron just
Could've
went
been.
out and bought and trained a parrot just to do this song.
Well, for all we know, he could
No. Ron is a parrot. That's the
Ah,
secret.
that makes so much
That's how he's
sense.
still good at singing. Good job. Bro.
Thank you very much, sir, and I hope you enjoyed that fine tale. And then the parrot kind of pipes up and says,
Pull the grift.
I'll ignore my friend here. He's always coming up with smart Alex to say.
You don't say.
Yeah. At this point, I think Don's even interested in like the fact that the parrot's like speaking stuff. So yeah, he definitely wants to try to learn how to become this. Oh, I'm like reeling over how good that was. Is that like a wisdom throw?
I
forget how
forget
you-
how we adjudicated it last time.
Wait and help.
I have the official text, but it's lengthy.
Jesus Christ.
Peacefully
lot
for 10
before I
minutes, succeed on a animal handling check. Yeah, roll an animal handling check, Don. I'll give you advantage on this because you've seen it, very much fully in action. This guy doesn't know you're there. They're performing together. So yeah,
Yeah. Yay.
yeah, that's definitely good enough. As the song comes to an end, he says his thank yous. Don, you get the sense that you have a bit of an appreciation for this parrot. And hold on.
Oh.
You should now have a Crandorian ground parrot in your journal.
Hooray!
Woohoo!
Beat this boy out. My journal. Wait, is this in my notes or?
On
the
roll
second
20?
tab of roll 20.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. Yay! I love it. Thank you. Oh my god.
Well, if you weren't awake after that, I bet you certainly are now.
You want a pirate, aren't you? I mean, the whole parrot and all.
Oh no, it's all my friend here. We just perform together, business partners we are.
But does the parrot get an equal share of the profit?
Oh well, we're equal opportunity.
Well, that was certainly a good song. But the subject matter was... Yeah, it was okay.
So, as you continue on, after this sort of odd interaction with this fella, um, who at no point ever makes eye contact with any of you, um, you head off to sort of the other edge of the docks to where you see are the large sort of carved stairways that head up from the docks up the bluffs into the town proper. As you guys ascend, you actually uh, start sort of seeing the fog thinning as you ascend above the level of the marine layer of this cloud cover. And as you get onto the sort of large cobblestone plaza of the open air market, Alcana, you can see there are a few stalls set up. You can see a few of the townspeople, yeah, just going about their day. Uh, you can see the familiar sign of the Martise Smithy, and even though it's long been painted over, you can still very faintly see the painted over letters underneath Martise saying "Anson," and you can see that there are also a few like flowers that have been put on the sort of like lamp lighting posts. That there are a few of them that even have these like cardboard, almost cartoony renditions of what looks like a monk on them. And there's a big banner that's been strewn across this plaza that says Falador presents the Feast of Friar Farewell.
Wait, hold on a minute. And she just kind of zeroes in. Falador?
What is it?
So the White Knights are throwing a festival, are they?
Well, the feast of Friar Farewell is a local tradition. Falador apparently hosting it is new. It's gone for
As you
like
start
2
having this
months. What
discussion,
happened?
you actually see White Knight in full armor come out of one of the buildings and start walking towards you. For a second, you think he's going to approach you, but then he sort of just is walking past to go down to the dock. So he does stop for a second and sort of nod his helmeted head and says, "Good morrow, citizen," before heading right back off towards the docks.
Yeah, Alcana just has this confused expression on her face.
I thought you said there weren't any knights here.
Not Shield's one. I mean, there were some Blight Knights who were trying to, like, persuade Ashdale to become annexed by Asgarnia last time I was here. Did something happen?
Uh-oh. Possible.
Well, I guess. Oh, you should probably ask your parents about it to see what's happened.
Yes, that's where I was thinking of going next.
Oh, also, check it out. I fly up to Natrix's shoulder, and I turn to a parrot. Squawk!
Right.
Squawk! I'm a parrot now! Squawk! People won't freak out! Squawk!
I guess that's how that works. That's
I hope. Wait, DM, I'm okay with... That's okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things about this parrot is that it can mimic human speech. And Notrix, with Dawn on your shoulder, you look particularly piratical.
I was about to say. Yeah, Notrix feels a bit party. Just
Amazing.
don't get in my face, please.
Squawk! Fine!
Looking around, is there any other obvious signs of this festival being prepared, or is it just the banner mostly?
The banner, some decorations. Let's say if you stay here looking around for a little while as the cloud cover starts to burn off, you can see that there are maybe a few more people with maybe wheelbarrows or different things, sort of uh, using the town as an arterial, shifting a lot of things towards one end of town. Definitely not in this plaza. It seems like the main event is going to happen somewhere else, just from where the activity seems to be directed towards. And you do spot the occasional white knight walking around, though they seem to mostly be involved in moving things in, as far as you can put together the planning for this.
So, we know, I think, or we can infer that Asgardians are a fairly sort of nationalistic kind of people. Do we see any sort of signs of this place actually having been annexed, like flags or something?
You don't spot any flags of Asgarnia.
Does Ashdale have its own flag?
I don't know, does it?
Yeah, I'd say it probably does.
Yeah. Well, in that case, you do still see a couple of Ashdale flags flying.
Maybe the White Knights are hosting this thing to convince the people to get on their good side.
I can't say that I like it very much, personally. But at the end of the day, I'm not exactly the one holding office.
Hey,
Nor would I want to be.
I don't know, you could run for mayor. Whatever equivalent Ashdale has.
Governor.
Kana, the governor of Ashdale. I could dig that.
I can't exactly say it's any of the irons I have in the fire at the moment. In any case, yes, let's get more of an idea for what's going on from, well, familiar faces. Or at least familiar to myself and Notrix. So yeah, if no one else wanted to look at anything else, she would probably start heading in the direction of her parents' place.
Squawk, Mom and Dad.
So you've very quickly come to the Rhesus residence. It's one of a number of sort of quasi-Mediterranean style townhomes that are facing this small, quiet square off of one of the main plazas, one of the main streets. It's a very nice space, a little bit idyllic, you might almost venture. There is a small pump and trough sort of in the center of this square, along with a few olive trees and scrub grasses kind of on the side. Several of the houses have little flower boxes, though the flowers are not in bloom at this time of year. It is getting on to mid-fall, but you go to the door, maybe knock to announce yourself, and very soon you see the figure of Martin Theresis, and he says, "Ho, Alcana, and you're Notrix, right?
Hello, yes.
Ho, and you have a couple more friends with you. Oh, well, this is a wonderful surprise. You came for the feast, right?
Well, we were in the neighborhood and wanted to make a pit stop. I suppose it's... Figured might as well come by.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Come on, why don't I... Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Let me prepare something for you.
Well, I mean, if it's not too much of a bother, I mean, we can certainly take care of
bother
ourselves.
her? Of course not. Alcana, we worry when you're not here. I mean, I know you're off doing your shield sworn things, and it's wonderful, but we'll never not be excited to see you when you come home. Come on. Who are your two new friends here?
Well, Loki's not exactly a new friend, but he is certainly a friend. Nia is
Loki.
a little bit newer. We only just met recently.
Nia kind of curtsies.
Oh, nice to meet you. Nia, Logie. My name is Martin. One of the best fishermen you'll meet here on Ashdale. So, are you guys interested in the Feast of Friar Farewell?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Uh, where did you pick that up, Notrix? I love that. A talking parrot.
It's kind of confusing to explain. It's just Druid stuff. It's hard to
Oh, that's
pass the
that's
details.
right. You're a druid. Ha! Wow, that's a really fascinating crowd you run with now, Alcana.
Let's just say that things just continue to get stranger and stranger by the day, and you've eventually just learned to go with the flow.
Come on, sit down, sit down. I'll fix us sort of a late breakfast, a brunch.
I certainly wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, it beats having hardtack.
Yes, we've been sailing the past day, so yep, haven't had a good meal.
So as you sit down to eat, it's only you're only here for a few minutes as he's started to put something together. For you hear the door open again, and Alcana, you see your mother walk in, and she said, "Oh, Alcana, I didn't know that you were coming."
Sorry, I didn't exactly have a lot of time to, announce it beforehand.
And she comes over and sort of gives you a slightly awkward hug with you still sitting in your chair. She says, "Oh, how are you? Are you eating properly? Are you staying safe? You're not doing anything too dangerous, are you?"
I'm staying safe enough. Unfortunately, danger is just part of my job description.
Alcana, you know, your mother has become something of a politician.
Huh? This is
I'm
a new
not a
development.
politician. It's just a local committee to make sure that the knights behave themselves while they're here.
Yes, I was about to ask about that. What is this about Falador hosting it this year?
Oh, well, it's fantastic that they've, uh, well, they're sponsoring this year's Feast of Friar Farewell, and well, they're bringing in special chefs, and they're doing something very interesting this year. You know how each year they set up all of these toy boats in the fountain, and they do the a bumper boat activity for the kids?
Yes, what about that?
Well, it's supposed to be for the kids, but you know there always is a couple of guys who prepare their model ships all year. Well, they're doing something pretty wild. They're combining that with the fishing competition.
You're, uh, 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 how in Saradomin's name does that even work?
Oh, they brought in all of these boats. I guess they set them up to be sort of like cogs, and well, they're going to have a little bit of a fishing competition slash mock battle. It's well, it sounds pretty exciting. I've actually signed up, but I was just about to drop out because, well, you know, with you gone, with Alette spending less time with your mother, spending less time in on the ocean, spending more time on land. I've taken on a couple of apprentices, and I got them,
Huh.
and they seemed real excited about it. Convinced me to sign up, and well, to be honest, I was pretty excited myself. But you know, these young bucks, they don't have a lot of sense sometimes. Last night they were brought in for public drunkenness. They were caught. I don't want to offend anyone, but caught relieving themselves in the fountain, and they were just sent to the guard station to sleep it off. But they were barred from participating in the feast. I was just about to drop out, but well, Okada, you came just at the right moment. Maybe you and your friends could be my crew for the fishing competition.
It is a possibility.
Martin, Alcana just got in. She's probably exhausted. Her friends are probably exhausted. Don't go forcing her to participate in this silly competition. I'm not forcing her, but Alcana, don't you want to prove that the Theresa's name is still something to be reckoned with in the fishing game? Don't you want to make your old man proud?
It would certainly be a nice way to take mind off things. I'll think about it.
Is there some sort
Let's
of
do it.
is there some sort of prize for this event?
Oh, yes, there sure is. Well, it's a choice of prize. You either get to keep your boat, Falador's providing all the boats, or you get a cash prize. And well, that could go a long way now.
Well, they're not exactly wanting for a vessel.
How much is the cash prize?
Oh, it's well, it's certainly more than I bring in a month. And you know what? You crew up with me, you'll even get a share of the loot if we win. I don't know, you have some pretty capable looking sailors here, Alcana.
And I'm certain. And well, let's just say that I've been in sea battles that were actually deadly before that we won.
Oh no, this wouldn't be dangerous at all. What they have, they set up. They actually demonstrated one of them the other day, a sponge cannon, and a sponge cannon and sponge sticks. And well, part of the goal is that they'll be trying to disqualify other ships by hitting them with sponges, and if they get enough paint marks on their sails, well, then it'll take away from their total of pearl cod they catch.
I didn't mean actually getting that. I was just kind of demonstrating that we've been through worse in this regard, so this might seem much easier and relaxing by comparison.
I mean, you're getting hit by a sponge is much better than getting hit by a cannonball.
Well, I mean, you've certainly never seen anyone actually hit by a cannonball, right?
I've seen cannonballs.
Can't say I have.
Oh, good.
Well, I think we should get to the food before it gets cold.
Yeah. And the brunch is served. You all sit down, catch up with your parents. What you find out is that, well, aside from Asgarnia sort of hosting, sponsoring this year's Feast of Friar Farewell, that the governor has set up just a small citizens advisory committee for this, and that your mom has happened to join it, and so she just came from a meeting with them.
So you're making sure the White Knights don't get up to any mischief while they're here.
Well, just making sure that they follow the local ordinances, that they do not do anything that would threaten either the fishing or the mining on Ashdale. They like to imagine that we're part of Asgarnia, but we have our own set of laws, our own set of courts, our own enforcement. And we're just making sure nothing untoward happens. And I'll let. I think that's unfair. Those knights, they swear an oath, just like Alcana did. They wouldn't do anything that's wrong.
Alcana is just uncomfortably quiet.
Look, having the knights here, having Asgarnia here, would it really be that bad? I mean, imagine, what if there's a big pirate fleet that decides to come here, descend upon the town? Do you think our guards could fight that off? Uh, not everyone can be an Alcana. I mean, they do the best they can, but they're not a force that could repel, say, an entire pirate fleet.
I think we answered this question last time we were here, but are pirate fleets an actual thing that happens in these waters?
At like simultaneously, you hear Alette say, "No," and Martin say, "Very well, could be."
Talking in theoreticals is going to do nothing when you're discussing actual policy.
Well, I'm just pointing out. I mean, I don't want to mean to bring up something uncomfortable, but you remember the incident with those things coming out of the caves and taking a few of the people here. Uh, I mean, that could have been it for us. It looked bad for a minute there, and well, if we had, say, an entire White Knight station here, a whole battalion of people who've been trained in holy magic and in swordcraft and all that sorts, well, it could have been a whole lot less painful than it was.
Well, then why didn't they come then? Where were they?
Well, I suppose they didn't come fast enough. It all happened so quickly. You can't expect word to get all the way to the White Knight's castle and then for them to get all the way overland and then on ships and then here in the blink of an eye. It's not the kind of thing that you can just react to. You have to be prepared.
Well, why is it they only care now after the crisis has already happened? It seems to me like they only are interested in us when it's convenient for them.
Freeloaders!
Alcana, I know you know a whole lot more about knighthood and about paladin oaths and all this sort of things than I do, but I think you're being a little bit unfair. I think if you're not prepared for what can happen, if you don't have the means to defend yourself, that's when you have a disaster. That's when you have all the sort of thing that happened here. I'm not convinced that Ashdale can prepare all its own.
Would the White Knights really spend time and resources protecting Ashdale over their precious mainland?
I don't think it's an issue of Ashdale versus the mainland. I think it's, well, I'm going to be frank, for them, it's probably a matter of consolidating the local territory. Ashdale is just a few miles off the coast. But the thing is, if they set up here, we'd have a White Knight station on the island. We'd have defenders at the ready. We could rely on Asgarnia. We wouldn't be so in such dire straits if things go poorly here. You're probably too young to remember this, Alcana, but once when you were very small, there was a horrible fishing season there was a big red algae bloom just off the coast of Asgarnia, killed about 80% of the fish, and times were lean. It was very hard. And if we could turn to the kingdom stores, well, we'd have a buffer against things like that.
I don't have the energy right now to be debating this any further.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to exhaust you with this. I'm making conversation. Anyway, how are the eggs?
They're good. Can't complain. Very hard to mess up eggs.
Yes, I would say they're excellent.
Oh, I like that. Very good. You're Nia, right?
That's right.
Well, Nia, you're a hoot and a half.
You're not so bad yourself.
And yeah, conversation continues. People making a little bit more of an effort to stray away from discussing the White Knights, discussing the possibility of annexation. But as it comes to an end and they're cleaning up, and yeah, they both insist that you don't have to help with the washing up or anything. You know, you're a guest here. Martin does approach you, Alcana, and say, so you don't have to make any sort of a judgment about whether you like Falador or dislike Falador. Heck, if you want, you can use it as an opportunity to stick it to Falador. I mean, that's what Marvin C. Sam is doing. But how about it? Crewing up with your old man tomorrow, joining in the fishing contest.
Unless something unexpected pops up last minute, why not?
Oh, that'll be swell. That'll be swell. Oh, let me tell you, we are going to have a hell of a time. And that Alette sort of comes down the hall with a dish challenge. She says, remember, Martin, you promised tomorrow, early in the morning, to help with setting up the fire pits. Don't forget about that. Just because you're excited about this child's game, it's not a child's game, and I will not forget. Bright and early, first thing in the morning, I will be out there. Well, I'm very excited for this, Alcana. It'll be, well, just like when you were a teenager, we'd go out on the fishing boat together, just the two of us fishing up. Or well, but this time you'll have your friends too.
You're not wrong.
So, as your meal is concluded, you guys are all sitting in the Theresis family living room. Is there anything else that you guys wish to do today?
Hmm.
Good
You know,
question.
just so every character is on the same page. Or well, actually, what time is it right now?
It's sort of early afternoon.
Yeah, why can I say that Logi shows them the caverns and the place where he went through?
Sure, if you want to lead them down to the caverns.
Just so everyone's on the same.
I mean, if no one else is going to do anything at particular, I didn't really have anything special in mind.
Yeah, the
That'd
only
be
thing I was
pretty
thinking
smart.
of is just going around asking questions of different people.
Well, I suppose going out of the caves wouldn't hurt, but I think I was more interested in. There's a motive behind the White Knights doing this, or behind Asgardia doing this. I think we need to find out what it is.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, maybe, yeah, perhaps, maybe asking a bit around town to kind of get a feel for the air and sort of know what's everyone thinking and, yeah, what that potential ulterior motive might be.
But isn't their like motive self-evident in a way? That they want to increase their public image, so that people will be more happy of being annexed.
There are layers to these things. I think we figured that one out by now.
So as you're heading out the door, Martin calls out to you. Oh, and don't forget the Friar's Eve prayers tonight.
Gotcha.
What does that involve, Arcana?
I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Oh.
Yeah, just like a large public prayer that's sort of the night before the actual Feast of Friar Farewell festivity.
Do any of us know the historical relevance of Friar Farewell? Just thought I would ask.
Well, Alcana definitely does. I don't think Notrix would. I suppose it's possible that Logi or Nia might have heard about it, but even then it's iffy. It's definitely probably more local history. Zuri, do you want to explain that?
Basically, she'd explained that there was kind of a bit of a folk tale around like the original days of the island, where this one monk guy, Friar Farewell, basically managed to catch a whole frick ton of fish before a particularly harsh winter season, and that sort of ended up, the holiday ended up kind of forming around that tale as sort of like, you know, a divine providence sort of thing. Though nowadays, he's more of a folk figure than an actual like saint that people revere. It's kind of a bit like Thanksgiving.
So, Logi, as you lead your party north of town and down the sort of winding paths that lead to the Tide Caves, where you ventured before, and which are also very much familiar to you, Alcana, you actually see that there is quite a bit of White Knight activity down here at just the mouth of the cave. You see that there are sort of on the rocky outcroppings before you head to the cave itself. And the cave itself, like the entrance, is sort of half submerged in seawater as the tide comes in. That there are a few sort of makeshift tables set up and what look like large hunks of just rock that have been um, kind of chiseled out and seem to be very carefully being stacked up between these layers of cloth muslin.
Oh dear, they're everywhere now.
You see, one of them sort of spots this little quartet approaching. Oh, what ho, citizens! What can we do for you?
I think we'll find things on our own. Thank you for the offer.
You're setting up for the festival here.
Oh, well, we are engaging in some supplementary cultural activities. The carvings on these caves happen to contain some of the earliest evidence of white knight, ceredominist, traditionalist presence on this island, and we are obtaining samples of them.
I beg your pardon? And it just sort of looks like the switch has sort of been flipped in Alcana's mind.
Oh, yes, we hope to display some of these during the feast tomorrow evening. You can learn a little bit more about the fantastic, storied Saradominist history of this island as one of the ancient and most foundational outposts of its holdings.
Hmm. Who permitted this?
Oh, well, these caves are technically outside of the gubernatorial administrative region of the island, which technically encases only the mainland. And if you can see this fissure right here that you just crossed, and you can indeed see that there's like a little bit of a wooden stairway that's part of just the path that leads down, but there's technically a little channel of water, like, less than a foot wide between that and the mainland of the island. It designates this particular area as part of the international waters. However, we understand that this is still a very important cultural and tourist related institution for the Isle, so we have made very generous restitutions for cultural enrichment and education and restoration to the government of Ashdale.
You can just see this entire like twist of emotions going through Elkanah's face as she's kind of taking in what's being said. And well, let's just say that underneath all of it, she sounds offended, honestly.
I think before Alcana can get offended or angry further, Nia speaks up and says, "You mentioned something about carvings and murals in there, didn't you?"
Ah, yes, that's right. Ancient carvings that were left behind here by some now mostly forgotten Saradominist civilization.
You know, I happen to be somewhat of a religious historian myself. I actually teach it back in Ardoin, and I'm actually very familiar with historical art as well. If
Oh,
you
you're an
guys,
academic. That's wonderful. Yes, we have a few professional archaeologists on staff here.
hmm, would you mind if I took a look for you? Maybe I can find something they couldn't.
Make a persuasion check, Nia.
Damn, I forgot she has low charisma.
Huh. That's borderline, so I'm gonna roll for him instead of just using the passive. Also because I might have forgotten to give him a passive.
Well, he's a follower of Sarah Derman, so does that mean he's wise?
Nope.
No.
And he kind of, you see him weighing it over, and he says, "Oh, well, these carvings that we've excavated, they are quite fragile, so I'm afraid you won't be able to handle them directly, but I don't see any reason why it would hurt to have a second set of trained eyes on these. Certainly, why not?"
I know
And
a little bit about them myself as well.
and he leads you over to one of these tables where you see that there are actually a couple of people who are not in white knight uniforms who look like they're probably the archaeologists he spoke about, dusting off this large sort of cut slab from the cave walls. And he says, "Oh, remember, no touching though." And you can see that these are indeed more of these, what you now know are goblin carvings.
So, question, because I forgot to ask about this. I mentioned it last week too with Zori, with Xanathar's guide. With painter supplies, apparently you get some kind of bonus to Arcana, History, and Religion when it comes to any kind of murals or paintings or artwork in general.
Oh, interesting. Uh, sure, we can say that applies. What's the bonus? Is it like an expertise bonus or?
It doesn't really say. I think it's more up to the GM than anything.
How about this? I'll say you can roll history or religion to try to get more insight into this, but then you'll add a +3 to whatever that roll is.
Okay, well, I have the same bonus in both, so. Nice.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I'll leave that up to you whether you want to roll the botch for that or not. But you you look at this and all you can see is like this serpent sea monster thing depicted on one of these. And for some reason, just the way that it's drawn, you just a few days ago faced an odd eldritch abomination within the depths of Ardoin, but this for some reason freaks you the fuck out even more.
She
And
kind of looks down at this, and upon seeing it, just falls over.
Honestly, I thought you were
Yeah,
gonna
are
go with
you okay?
Yeah, she stands back up, but you can see that she's purposely looking in every direction minus at that particular mural.
Notrix looks at that mirror to see what she's so afraid of. I assume just see the
Okana
carving.
too.
Yeah, you want to try to depict it, try to interpret it, you can roll either religion or history check.
I get the feeling I've already tried to do this before. But
Yeah. I guess if we have the opportunity, might as well roll.
I can tell that this carving is indeed a carving.
This carving appears to be made of carving.
But it's stone. You're a dwarf.
Squawk? It's carved.
So, you can see that this is depicting sort of this monster, a sea monster, and Alkana, you recognize this as being pretty close to sort of one of the local Ashdale legends of the sea soul serpent. So you're not sure if that means if it's evidence for it or if it's something from a time when that legend was already established. Uh, and it's surrounded by these smaller figures. Some of them you can tell are kind of the crude shapes of goblins. Some of them do look to be knights of some sort, or at least warriors wearing armor and holding swords. And you see that there are several other figures that are sort of contorting their bodies almost like a dance. But as you look more closely at it, Alkana, you recognize that it's actually a very stylized form of archaic Icenic writing, and that it's almost been disguised or stylized to look like human or humanoid figures. And you can see that what it seems to spell out is a phonetic term that reads Haboleth.
Huh. That's interesting. It was actually a bit of a. Well, it's pretty well disguised, but it's archaic Icenic with some kind of. Well, it's spelling something out phonetically.
Oh, is that so?
Yes. Haboleth or something.
Hmm. It's likely the name of an old saint.
I wouldn't be so sure of that. There are many explanations for that sort of a thing.
Oh, it probably,
Well,
probably is a saint, you know. You Ceredomers have a
I'll,
lot of saints.
I'll have it added to the records. Probably one of these figures repelling this monster.
Alcata sort of has this X'd out kind of squint on her face, but she doesn't really press anything further and just looks at Logie. It's just like, can we please get this over with? I don't want to talk to these people more than I have to.
Ooh, one question. Is there like a hierarchy of like how big people are on the carving? Like, is there any like one stick figure that looks more important than the others?
Why don't you roll? Why don't you roll an insight, Dawn?
Okay. Oop. Wait,
Why is that with disadvantage?
I don't know. But should I just roll again? Or
Well, it shouldn't have been with disadvantage. I'll let you take the 22.
okay.
Oh wait, that's a natural 20. Hot damn, I didn't
Oh, hot
realize
damn.
that. So, as you're looking at it, you feel like you notice something in your little fake parrot brain that the others didn't notice. That there is one of these knights standing before them, and at first it looks like it's just part of like a cape that's been drawn, but you realize the formation of this cape that it's actually a set of wings that are folded tight behind it, and this figure is holding up a mace.
I like. Is Natrix like next to Lakata?
Probably.
Yeah,
I
we're
hop
standing here
over to
looking at this.
Alkana's shoulder, and I do that little like parrot pat, and I say, look at that one. Look at the cape. They're wings.
Well, now that's very interesting.
Just can we say that Logie has the mace in the backpack so it doesn't look sort of conspicuous if one of these people suddenly talks to the White Knight and I have a mace?
Yeah, I assumed that you didn't have the mace out.
Yes, we didn't walk towards white knights with weapons drawn.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, we didn't? Oops.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Again, my weapons are always drawn.
Always. My weapon is my mind. But yeah, continuing.
Well, that's a fascinating trick you've pulled with that parrot of yours. How long did it take to trade it?
It took a little while. It's a bit of a stubborn animal, really. It's not the brightest, but with enough effort, it got through.
Squawk! Hey, speak for yourself, buddy! Squawk!
Oh, that's terrific.
So does it look like these knights are actually trying to prevent us from entering in any way?
I mean, they haven't tried to stop you yet, but you can see that there's, a bit of activity right here, just inside the lip of the cave. You can see that there are actually a couple of floating pallets there, since the entrance right now is sort of half partially submerged. And yeah, it seems like there's a bit of activity, a bit of excavation going on just inside.
Well, if you don't mind, we'll I think we'll head on. We'd like to take a closer look at the.
Oh, hold on there, friend. That's an active dig site.
I promise we won't disturb.
I understand. However, we are in the middle of excavating some very delicate, very important historical records, and well, we can't have those disturbed.
But surely not the entire cave is carved like this.
In fact, I know for a fact it isn't. I know it very well.
I'm not denying that. However, you'd still have to walk through our active dig site to get there.
I don't think we should disturb the good white knights the dig site here, guys. It would be rather. It wouldn't be right for us civilians to go wandering in here.
Yes, it seems like it'll be a bit more trouble than it's worth. All right.
So we should be finished up by, well, certainly before the end of the week, possibly by tomorrow, and then you'll have your cave all to yourselves once more.
Squawk! He does a little, I'm keeping my eye on you motion. You know, with his talons. To the light.
Curious tricks that you've trained that parrot to do.
If nothing else, it has quite the personality.
Suppose that's one word for it.
Yes, it appears to have taken a bit of dislike to you, I'm afraid. Sorry about
Oh, that's a shame. Well, is there anything else I can do for the four of you?
I suppose not.
that. Yes, but thank you
No,
for
I
letting us
guess.
have a look. It's quite interesting.
Of course, of course. Well, I look forward perhaps to seeing you at the Feast of Friar Farewell tomorrow.
I think we'll be there.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay. I assume we're heading off now, and once we're out of like hearing range for these nights, I think Logi's going to turn. I don't like this. This doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. And
Done?
Alkana's now sort of like dropped, like, she's dropped her more like polite thing, and yeah, you can definitely tell. She definitely seemed pretty offended by the whole exchange.
So, what's the plan for sneaking in there?
Don turns back into a fairy. Yeah, it was a plan.
I mean, obviously, we can always send Don in. That goes well most of the time. But
You bet it does.
Yes.
And well, it's
Hmm.
the Fey folk aren't exactly too known around these parts, or as I've heard them call you all the time.
Did it? You said that there was like a like, is it possible to swim into this cave from the sea, or is it cut off?
Yeah, it's possible to swim in from the sea, but it's just one entrance where it seems like right now the water is almost waist high to a human.
it's not really. You can't really swim.
I mean, you can swim in water that deep.
Yeah, but I think in that depth, you just look down and see someone swimming through the water.
Yeah, you at least
Yeah,
see a
pretty
silhouette.
much.
Unless it's really dark in there.
I mean, could you do
well,
the old one too? Invisible Dawn, some sort of animal not tricks. If anyone else
class.
has any tricks.
I mean, I suppose if I can remember the layout of the cave well enough, and they don't have anyone deeper inside, I could just teleport it.
I feel like you'd end up teleporting right in front of some archaeologists.
Yeah, and how would you get out? Can't you only use that thing once?
You can do it twice.
Well, maybe. How about me and Natrix scout it out first, and then find a good place for you to teleport.
Yeah, it's
And
not.
if you do, I don't mean to presume, but could you take me?
Yes, and if it does turn out that not everyone can go inside, I would recommend that you bring truth. There's a wall deep in the cave that has a gate that's only visible. Well, only visible in the Shadow Realm, as far as I know.
Right.
Yes. Did you say the figure on the mural had wings?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It had like a mace to it.
I should probably tell you about that. And he sort of rummages through his backpack. I think that's who I got this from. And he holds up the mace.
You don't say.
Wait, do you
You
think?
know, I'd probably be a lot more shocked at this if it weren't for, well, all of the other crazy stuff I've seen in the past year.
What is it with us and just getting old arsenic weapons?
I don't know, but you think that's the same mace from the carbon?
Probably.
Huh.
It did belong to a winged person.
You mean an icing?
Probably.
Interesting.
Freaky.
Well, it sounds like we have a plan of some
Alright.
sort.
In that case, Natrix, you ready?
Hmm.
You want to be a spider and I'll carry you?
Well, I was kind of thinking I'd find a crab and learn its form and go underwater better.
That works too. It's probably easier that way, so no one sees a flying spider.
Yes, I'm not
You know?
sure. An aquatic cavern isn't really the natural habitat of a spider. It might be a bit dangerous.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Alright, in that
spiders
case.
can't swim very well.
Yeah. Let's get in there then.
All right, so you, Notrix, you find a crab to turn into, and what does Dawn do?
Don, I think, because here's the thing: is Natrix going through like underwater, or is he like walking through the entrance somehow?
Well, yeah, I was just thinking I'd go down to the beach, look at a crab for 10 minutes, and yeah, well, there's a part of the entrance is submerged. I just scuttle in, and I believe I saw a crab in there when I was last there, even.
Oh, hey, you
So-
know what? Don doesn't need to breathe. Remember that freaky thing? So I could always go with Natrix.
Wait, what was that again?
Don doesn't like need to breathe, so he could always go with Natrix, like underwater and stuff.
You can be invisible and fly. I feel like that's enough
Oh,
already.
true. I don't want to get my wings wet, you know? Yeah, I'll just go through the front entrance and we'll meet in there at some point. I think Don would tell Natrix, hey, if you, once you get in there, try to do a little dance so I know I'm not just talking to some random crab.
Sure, I will
Crab
dance.
right.
So,
Nice.
yeah, Notrix, sort of looking around the rocky shore easily enough, you're able to find a crab, spend 10 minutes with it, figure out how to turn into a crab. Um, and you, yeah, sort of take this form, scuttle on down the rocks into the water, and sort of scuttle swim your way through that entrance into the cavern where all of these uh, sort of white knights, kind of in half armor, sort of just in chainmail vests. Some of them, even despite the cold, have a bit of sweat as they're working with chisels, and a couple of people in civilian clothes working in here. Dawn, if you're going to flitter in invisible, why don't you roll a stealth with advantage for me?
Okie dokie. Stealth. Nice.
Yeah,
Not natural.
very nice. And Dawn, you're able to flutter in, see the same thing. Both of you sort of get in. It seems like all of this activity is really centered within the first couple of chambers. But then there is a place where, and Notrix, you're familiar with it. You kind of saw this spot before, where the cavern wall sort of the ceiling dips down, and you very briefly have to swim underneath to get into the next chamber. And as soon as you do, Notrix, you see that there is absolutely no trace of any equipment, any knights, any archaeologists whatsoever in the next part of the cavern.
Oh.
And do you think Don is able to like sneak his way towards that side of the cavern? And like is it pretty linear? The whole thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So at some point, do you think Don would see the little dancing crab come over?
Yeah, you don't have trouble when you get to the next chamber in the cavern finding each other again.
There you are.
Crab noises.
All right. So What are we looking for? I mean, this whole place is pretty good. We could always talk to Logie about, possibly teleporting here. Oh yeah, I cast Speak to Animals.
Yes, as I was saying, it seems there's no white knights here.
Yep, no white knights over here.
Huh?
And how much more does it look like? It goes much deeper. Yeah, right.
Probably, yeah.
And if I like really listen in, do you think I could listen in on trying to hear any other like excavation noises, like any chiseling of mattocks?
I'd say that you can be pretty confident that it's all in the first chamber, that there's nothing past this point of the White Knight's operation.
All right.
So
How about I go back?
we didn't see anything particularly of note as we just went past all of the white knights. They were just doing chiseling, getting carvings off the walls.
Can I?
Yeah. Seems like they're taking these very kind of neat rectangular, like shaving off big slabs essentially off of the walls.
Were any of the... This is sort of retroactive, but were any of the slabs marble?
Didn't Don notice any marble?
Well, I mean, like Ashdale, that's the whole thing. It's sort of limestone on the top and kind of layers of striated metamorphic rock. Some of it with the right composition to be marble underneath. So, you're gonna see marble here. It's
the place
not
where it comes
necessarily a big deal though, because it's
we are in
Ashdale.
Ashdale, therefore
Yeah,
we will see Ashdale marble.
Yeah, sort of the whole thing is on a geologic fold of marble. But yeah, you saw some marble there.
In that case, yeah, I'm gonna just tell Natrix, I'm gonna go and get Logie and Alcana. You stay right here. Continue being the crab.
I guess that's yeah, I guess that works out. I might go crab around.
Yeah, I'm gonna
look at stuff.
I'm gonna sneak on back. And just is there a specific way that Logie would have told Don to describe? Like, does he have to tell him like how many feet in, or like something like that?
I think you guys would have figured out, how to describe this this location. I might make you do a roll to see how well you describe it, but
Sure.
Trigonometry.
What kind of roll? Maybe
I'd say perception.
perception. Wait, it's advantage. No. Okay, it's okay. It's still 22.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, Dawn, you're able to now, sort of confident with their movement, sneak past then the White Knights once more, back to Logie and Alcana, and describe pretty confidently where a safe spot is in relation to.
Imagine like 3 gnome ball fields, right? Like about that long.
I think 500 feet is less than... Well, gnomes are pretty short, aren't they? So it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Imagine a gnome ball field, but like instead of gnome ball, it's like a human ball.
So this is within 500 feet, right? We don't have to shuffle closer to getting a spot where we can cast it.
Yeah, I'll say so.
Okay. Who else is going to be teleported along with?
Alcana, she's got truth.
Okay, so log in Alcana.
Is Nia coming, or is that too many people?
Well, Logie can only bring one more person along at the time.
There's no point in making him go back and forth. That's both of his spell slots.
True. Alright.
Nia can keep one.
Yes.
Or try to sneak in, depending on how easy it looks.
Yeah.
Can Don kind of
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that case,
yeah, you can just do it.
Logi's going to ask Kana if she's ready, and when she
She would nod yes.
cast that spell.
Yeah, and easily enough, with Dawn's instruction, you close your eyes, out of sight of where the knights are, and there's just sort of a puff, and then you're both down here in the caves. Pitch dark here. But yeah, you are past the spot where the White Knights were.
And, well, I have my neat little invocation now.
Oh, hey, true.
Does that mean we both have dark vision?
Seems so. I'm just going to assume that you had your sunglasses on when you met with your parents, and that's why they didn't comment on an iPad.
Yes, she would have been wearing her casual clothes for that, but at that point she probably would remove the sunglasses, as there's no reason to keep them on in here when she's to see in the dark and there's nobody else around.
Yeah, if you keep your sunglasses on inside the dark cave, you're really only doing it to stay cool and mysterious.
Yeah. You know, it was a bright day on Ashdale. Even though it was really misty, it was bright enough.
Yeah, so I
So-
guess we'll wait here for Dawn to come.
Yeah, I imagine
Yeah. A few minutes later, Don makes his way back there.
Hey yeah.
Hello.
Okay. Now, let's see if I can remember where it was. So I think Logi is going to be leading them to the spot where he found the gate. And if he remembers any other like landmarks, maybe he can show them to them too, in case they can infer anything more from them than he did.
Well, Alkana, parts of these caves at least are familiar to you. Devastatingly familiar. But Logi, I think you're worried at first about whether you'll be able to remember the right path through, especially as you get deeper in and things start to wind a bit more. But you have an odd surety in your steps, as if you spent so much time here, even if you lost that time consciously, that the path to that door is just imprinted on your mind. And soon enough, you find yourself in that same, and you do have to spend a couple of passages like sort of swimming to get through these narrow and partially submerged bits of the cave. Not too far though, it's nothing like the last leg of the Isle of Juniper Singing Caverns. Finally get to this last sort of almost unnaturally round chamber, the rock rising from the center like an island, where you knew you found that doorway the last time. Can see still the decayed bits of what must have been not carapaces that have now become just translucent shells lightly floating on the water. The scraps of cloth that you spotted the last time must have completely disintegrated since then.
Is this the place?
Yes, it should be. And I think on that wall, right there, see if you can't see anything with.
Alkana would try and take a look, with truth, of course.
You walk up, hold the sword in front of you, and you can see as you get close that there is this tooled square doorway and what seems like a large slab of worked stone that seems to have been constructed as if it's meant to slide to one side that bars entry through this door frame, but it is completely invisible without truth held up in front of you.
I can see it. This stone-worked sliding thing?
Yes, that's it. That's the door.
Ah,
And that's where your freaky winged friend is?
Well, it's where he was. Well, I doubt we'll find him there.
This is a weird question, but do I see anything with my super heightened crab senses? Because apparently crabs have blind sight, which is see without using vision.
Oh, you're still a crab?
I assume so.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I don't think so.
The crab does not sense anything particularly as good. Why
I mean,
does a
you
crab have
definitely
blind
don't
sight
sense the door
anyway?
there. I don't know.
are you sure we're not just gonna get stuck in there for a year if we go in, like what happened to you? As that would be
Well-
horribly inconvenient.
We missed the fishing game.
I'm not sure what would happen because the place sort of seemed to collapse last time. So I'm not sure what would be there now.
Okay.
Is there anything around the door that looks interesting, or further down the cave that's visible?
At this point, you're in sort of a dead end. This seems to be, at least this particular passage, the terminus.
Okay.
Yeah. So is this stone slab that makes up? Well, I guess I can't see it again. But
Yeah.
it's completely
Yeah, not
like
even
it.
with blind sight. It's not like it's been enchanted, that kind of invisible. It's just like not there without some sort of true sight into the shadow realm.
You know, I have a history of casting dispel magic on things and horrible things happening. I don't know if I want to do that or
Please
not.
don't.
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Don't think there'd be a wizard there to help us again.
It just a wizard comes out of the door and just starts
Again
yelling
with
at
this
us.
shit? Yeah.
Do it!
I tried opening the door.
Can you touch it?
Alcana tries to touch it.
You touch the door, and as you do, you can see the sheen of your hand as suddenly, from all of your pores, a tiny, infinitesimal amount of that slime covers it, making you almost shimmer. Logi, as you are looking at Alcana, you can clearly see both of her eyes are gray. And the door, at least as you can see it through truth, slides open.
What
Ooh.
is that?
What happened?
Well, it opened. I felt something weird, but it opened.
Do you feel it dragging you in?
Do I?
No, you just hold up truth and you can't see what is through this now open doorway. It just is black beyond.
Can't see anything beyond it.
Can you touch through it?
Alcana would try and reach an arm through to see if anything happens.
You push an arm through and you feel it almost touch into some kind of muck, something that's soft, and it's almost a struggle to pull your arm back, but you manage to do it. And when you look at your hand, you see that it looks like it's covered in some kind of a grime or some kind of a muck or dirt.
Do we see it like that, or only through truth?
what those of you who cannot see this doorframe see is Alcana seem to almost caress the wall, but as she pulls her hand back, then you can see that her hand is caked in like mud or something.
Ugh.
Does it look like the mud I saw when I I struggled to walk through that place because of the mud?
It does.
I've seen that before.
So we're on the right track then. I don't think I can get much further though. Ugh.
What if you had a shovel?
I
A
don't
mud
have
shovel?
a shovel.
Now, does this door go to many places or just the one place? And is that place still there?
When you went into the door before, was it like what Okada's saying? Was it all muddy like that?
I don't remember much about the passing through, but on the other side there was a beach, and it had mud like that.
Huh.
Maybe the mud is somehow what helps you transfer over. I don't know.
Or the doors underground? Maybe Natrix was right. Maybe we just need to get a shovel and dig up or something. You know?
Yes, well, the place did seem to collapse when I left, or well, I'm not sure if I left, but it's the last thing I remember. Well, it's not actually the last thing I remember, but it's the last thing I remember clearly.
Huh.
There were buildings there. They seemed to crumble, if I recall.
Huh. It all sounds rather strange. Though that's
Yes,
certainly not out of the ordinary for us.
yes, I remember spikes and columns of mud, the sky disappearing, and
Ugh.
tentacles.
Tentacle.
Well, I guess the other side of this door got buried in mud.
Yeah, I don't think it's much use trying to get through here, honestly. As curious as I would be, and however ill advised that curiosity may be.
Well, last time I was here, I asked some animals to explore around in the water below, and all they seemed to find were dead naught.
I would hope they wouldn't find anything particularly interesting.
When Alcana was trying, did it seem like it was easier for Alcana to put her hand in than to pull?
Easier to put it in than to pull it out.
Yeah, and don't quote that out of context.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah.
Maybe it's only blocking you from, well, maybe it's trying to make you go through, but you have to resist to pull back out.
Well, after what happened to you, I wouldn't necessarily be the most eager to go in there.
I don't particularly think jumping through a random portal is advisable, especially when the portal appears to be resisting your efforts to pull yourself out.
Well, here's. I have both the crystal cylinder thing and the pier thing. Do any of them react to the gate in any way?
You just throw it at it? Or, sorry, not throw it. Touch it.
Hold it up.
Crystal
to it.
cylinder, and what's the other one?
This little pear-shaped.
Oh,
Thing.
okay. So
Say,
you hold it up towards that spot, Loki. Nothing really seems to happen.
Does anything happen if I touch the wall with them?
With which one?
The pear first?
No, nothing seems to happen.
Okay, the cylinder?
As you touch it, you can see a spot on the wall kind of turn this flat, matte black, and then sort of flash this kind of pearlescent white before turning back to this mottled brown.
oh, that's familiar. That's a little too familiar for comfort.
How?
Huh.
You know that?
Did you not literally remember all of the time you've spent messing around with that cage in the Singing Caverns?
Oh, that's right.
It also turned white, and then, or it was black and then turned white. Then, well, I mean, it turned white because Peyton hit it with a stupidly large fireball. But same concept.
It doesn't look like there's like a slot or anything or indentation where I can put something like.
No, nothing like that.
Okay,
I, though, did feel something. Like I said, though, I did feel something odd when I made contact with it.
this is a very stupid question. But does anyone have the medieval equivalent of tape? I want to see what happens if I tape this thing to the wall.
I will say that I established early on in the campaign that sawdust and pitch are sort of part of the standard repair equipment kept on most ships. So I'd allow you to say that you have a little bit of pitch on you.
Okay, I'm going to attach this to the wall. See what happens.
I think Noshik looks on a bit incredulously at this particular action.
So you baste one side of this cylinder in pitch, stick it to the wall, and you can see that wall sort of almost looking like a rippling, almost like a liquid, sort of turn into black, then white, just in a sort of a halo around this cylinder, and then black, and then white. And then it starts going back and forth between black and white, until it seems like there's just this gray halo around it. And then the cylinder is gone. And the wall
What?
is just that same mottled brown.
Even through truth?
Okay, that's good.
I'm confused.
Is there any way? Is there any way we could check if it was safe to go through at this point?
I hope you're not asking the DM that.
I mean, we have truth, and you can stick your hand in it again. Loki, you could have a look in the Shadow Realm properly. Yeah, those two things I can think of.
Okay. I feel like we're probably using a bit too much time on this, but maybe not. Maybe it's actually very important. Maybe that's what some of this stuff means. So I'm going to use my shadow refuge.
Yeah, you step into the Shadow Realm, Logi, and once more, it's similar to that scene so many months ago. You can see the door clearly, and you can see that it is open. A void beyond, leading to what? Maybe the same place, maybe something different. You're not sure.
Okay, so if I stick my hand in, does it feel different from last time?
Well, last time you didn't really have much of a memory of the process of going through. So you stick your hand through the doorway?
Yes?
Make a strength saving throw for me.
Oh, it is.
Oh dear.
And you just kind of pull your hand out, and you do feel like it's sticky. It's hard to pull out. As you do, you see your hand is covered in mud the same way that Alkana's was.
Huh.
Jeez, you stick your whole hand in there. I was covered in whatever that is. You.
Oh, you guys can't see Logi right now.
What? Oh yeah, true.
Right. Hmm. But I only do I sort of feel the mud while my hand is in there, or is that just after I've pulled it out?
You feel it when you put your hand in there.
Right. Oh, I've set it to GMO. Right. Crap. How about I? Hmm. Yeah,
What
I
if-
don't know what to do.
Sorry. What if Elkanah poked it with a mage hand?
Alkana, you summon a mage hand and send it through the door.
Yeah.
As you move that spectral hand through the door, your spell ends.
Oh, fantastic.
So, uh,
You know, we kind of came here to look at Adrian Bold's house too, right? What if we checked out that place? Then if we find something useful, there pertaining to the door, we come back here.
but this
Hey,
door ate our cylinder. It's,
DM,
Yes.
can I? This is a very cheaty sort of roll. Can I roll to see if there's anything important about this that I've forgotten about?
What?
I don't know if I've forgotten some sort of important information about this door by this point.
I don't think you have. I think it's just like a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what to give you. You guys are, all just pussyfooting outside of this weird door. And, it's up to you whether you want to take the plunge or not.
well, my suggestion was about to be how about we tie a rope to someone and have them go in the portal.
Ooh,
Ah.
okay. Well, Logi exits the Shadow Realm again because he only has 2 actions. Maybe.
See anything?
No, well, I did feel it when I put my hand in. It was difficult to pull it back out again.
Same thing I experienced then.
What
what do we
if?
do?
What if we tie a rope around Alcana, and she can go inside to see if it's safe, and if not, we pull her out.
Seems
I
good.
like how you just...
On the one hand, it sounds like a bad idea. On the other hand, I can't deny that I'm curious.
Yeah. Although you should probably not take your armor in. You don't want to sink in the mud.
Oh, I think she's in her casual wear at the moment, anyway.
Fair enough.
In that case.
Well, also mud. It's a very watery substance, isn't it? So here, how about you have some water breathing? It
Thank you.
might also be mud breathing. I think you can make an argument that mud has a lot of water in it. I don't know.
Sure.
Well.
See, yeah, Notrix puts his hand on your shoulder. You have water breathing.
Well, if you've got that rope, I suppose here goes nothing.
So Alcana, you step through the door.
Wait. Before she
What
does
we
that,
do?
just 1 second. While grasping the rope, Notrix turned into a tree to hold the rope in a
Just in case.
in a massive wooden grasp, in an inescapable wooden grasp, hopefully, holding this rope, because that's an idea.
Ooh.
All right. So you've got a giant tree in this cramped cavern, along with a fairy, a dwarf, and a paladin with a rope tied to it.
Yep, this is
So-
Unstoppable
peak
team.
D&D. Peak D&D.
Peak
So-
D&D.
Alcana, are you stepping through the door?
Against her better judgment, yes.
You all watch, or at least you try to. But for some reason, maybe you're blinking, maybe there's a sound in the water that catches your attention, maybe your mind just wanders. But for some reason, none of the three of you are actually looking at Alcana as she steps through. And when your eyes focus back where you're supposed to be, you see the rope almost hanging in midair next to the blank wall for a second before it drops down, the end frayed. And with that, let's go ahead and take a little break. Spend the next hour working at this place where Alcana disappeared, banging against the wall, casting spells at it. Nothing seems to happen. During this hour, at least, while the druids are working on this, Loki, are you kind of taking a breather?
Yeah, I'm taking a short rest, I think, to get my my shadow thingy back.
Yeah. So after an hour of just railing against this, trying to figure out what's happened, it seems like there's no way to get through. Like you've essentially lost Alcana on the other side of this unknowable portal.
Ah,
I'm no longer sure that was the best idea.
I'm sorry about this. I think I should go in after her.
On your own? Can we come with you?
I don't think. Actually,
What if we like held onto your hand while you walked in or something?
so if I carried on, does that count as equipment? Like my equipment goes into the Shadow Realm with me, of course. So if I just carried on, since he's so tiny, does that count?
I think you'd have to try it to know.
Gotta go in like your shirt pocket or something.
Yeah, okay.
Try to carry me!
I have a way that would make that certainly work, but it's terrible, so I'm not going to do it.
Would you cast a spell on him to make him into an object?
Similar, yeah, but it's terrible idea.
Well, does anyone else want to try to hitch a ride in case it works?
You can try to like hold onto their hands while you're walking. Like a tent.
Well, I was thinking like maybe if Notrix turned into something, maybe that would have a higher chance of working.
Become like a spider. Or maybe something a little sturdier, like, you know, a rat.
I was wondering, do we want to just all try and jump in this door if it actually does work? Which
Poor Nia. Yeah.
sure,
Sorry.
Notrix. Oh, we had a short rest, so yeah, Notrix becomes a spider and goes on Logi's back. The back specifically because he doesn't want to get crushed between the wall and Logi if it actually turns out he can't pass through the door.
Alright, let's go!
Okay, with these people on me, I am going to use my Shadow Refuge.
You step into the Shadow Realm, and you feel in your shirt pocket on your back where you placed your druid friends, they're not there.
No!
Ah, crap. Okay.
Alright, just go in
Well,
anyways.
Yeah, I think we're pretty clear that if it doesn't work, you should probably go anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Logi steps forward, turns around to make sure that he didn't accidentally destroy them with magic or something. They're there, I see.
Yeah,
Or
you didn't
bad.
destroy them with magic.
We're just
Yes.
floating in the air where his pocket was.
I imagine, like, he disappeared and I had to, like, catch Spider, Natrix. Or Natrix, like, sent a little web up to me and, like, caught me by the
Pretty
neck,
much.
like,
Yeah, well, we
It
just
doesn't
disappeared
really,
and we fell out of the sky.
basically.
doesn't really hurt a spider to fall that from that height,
No.
I think. Well, I'm going to go through the door again.
Uh-oh.
All right. You approach this open door, this void before you. Take a deep breath and step through. And as you do, you fall face first in the mud. As you pull yourself back onto your feet, wipe the mud off of your eyes, you look around. You're on a shoreline that is oddly familiar and yet somehow so much more mundane than it was the last time you saw it. The last time the land had this way of undulating, the sea perfectly calm, even the buildings seeming to shake with the tide. That's not happening anymore. The muddy shoreline is still. The sea to your left is gently lolling onto shore and then receding. You don't see the buildings, however, you do see just a hillside full of rubble, white masonry. The sky is clear, has a bit of a yellowish tint to it. And you see the only building still standing is that hut further down the shoreline where you recovered that mason breastplate.
Can I see Arcana?
You cannot.
Okay, I'm going to shout for Arcana. Arcana!
You shout at the top of the lungs. No response.
Okay. I look around, and I think I'm going to go and check inside.
You walk down the
I just realized, way back, like 30 minutes back, I should have just done my card thing and asked if this was a good idea, shouldn't I? Crap.
Well, a little
Well,
late for that now.
I'll remember it for next time. So you march down the shore, having to kind of pick your feet up each time out of the sticky mud. You approach the open doorframe of this simple white stucco hut, and inside you see that there is a man, his back turned to you, and he turns around to face you. Oh, well, hello, Logie. Oh, pleasure to see you back here again. It is the face of Suetonius.
Ah, you're still here.
Well, I'm still here. For what it's worth, whatever this place is. It's not exactly a real place, is it?
Isn't it?
Well, it's not fake, but it's not exactly real. It's. Maybe you could call it a liminal space, a between space. Place that could become real. You put a little more work into it. A place that could help you get to a real place. But it's nothing that you can really bring here that you don't carry with you. Well, the last time you were here, there was another consciousness, and there's another consciousness here now, but it's got a whole lot less going for it than the one who was here the last time.
Where's the other consciousness now?
Oh, it's around, probably.
Probably. Right.
So, Logie, you're here. I'm here. At least some reflection of me is here. What did you want to talk about?
You know, I didn't actually expect to see you here again. But I suppose it makes sense now.
Well, in a sense, I'm always here. Or at least, you could say the piece of me that lives in you.
Right. Last time you talked about finding a place.
About finding a what now?
Hang on, let me just find my note. Oh, what's the after character? What was it called again? The thingy. Like the maze of broken shadow. No. The thing I was
City
told
of
about.
Broken Shadows.
That's it. That's it. You said something about the city of broken shadow.
Oh, maybe. I mean, there's a lot to say about cities, shadows, what might break them. What do you want to know?
Is this someplace I can use to get there?
City of Broken Shadows. It's more real than here. This place you can get to places far more primal. Think of a train. You've been on the cartographer's tramway, haven't you?
Yes.
So you're on the cartographer's tramway, right? You're going through the Trollheims, going from Keldegrim to Varrock. And where are you when you're there? Right there, in the middle of the Trollheims? You look around, you're in the middle of this mountainous space. But really, you're not there at all. You've never stepped foot in the Trollheims. It would destroy you. You'd be killed in seconds, at least you as you were then. Maybe now you'd have a shot. But the place where you are, it's an artificial space, isn't it? It's a place built to reflect comfort, to reflect culture, to reflect what the dwarves think they need to survive, to be comfortable, to well, to make profit, on their way between two real places.
I think I understand.
That's what this is. More of an artificial place that reflects your own comforts between two real spaces.
I
Though I
see.
don't think you want to go to the other real space, the one that you didn't come from.
No, probably not. I did I make it a beach, or did the old man?
No, that was more the old man, but I mean, you're still tainted by your experiences with him. I mean, you did quite a number on him, didn't you?
Suppose I did. And there's absolutely no chance he could ever come back from that.
No, no, I don't think so. Things that he was here with are mostly in the other space now. Oh, but
I
I
see.
can tell you, if you've got more questions about the other consciousness that's in here now, well, you've got an open door, as it were, right now.
This other consciousness, is it someone I know? Is it? It's not O'Connor, is it?
Yes, yes, that's her name.
Right. She just came through, or does time work differently?
Yeah, you're dealing with real mortal concepts there, mate. It's not. If you think of it in those terms, you're just going to confuse yourself faster than ever.
Right. How does distance actually matter here? If I ask you how far away she...
Oh, no, no. Well, you got some concerns about that one.
Well, she stepped through here and didn't come back out.
Yeah, had a tougher time. I mean, this place is specifically made against ones like that. I could, I could probably give you that other one to take back with you.
Okay. Right. That would be good. You
But you're
did
sure you
talk
don't want to
about...
know anything that that other one knows? Probe the deep, dark secrets.
What?
Well, I mean, you're really the force in charge here. Two consciousnesses, and another one not nearly so strong as the one who was here before, and you were able to deal with that. You were able to survive Kave, able to survive Suetonius, even able to survive something else. Though we'll see whether that pans out.
Right. You mentioned her last time, do you remember?
Yes. Yes, I do. Haha. So how are things going on that front then?
I haven't done anything yet.
You know, I've half a mind to keep that one here. I mean, we'll make sure that it doesn't do anything untoward, anything that might be problematic outside.
Right, because that was a concern.
Though now that I've got it myself, it's a bit less intimidating than I thought. You see him reach behind that stone slab in this room and pull out this tank, this not really a tank, almost more like just a glass cylinder. And you see that there's a small nautilus inside of it. Yeah, don't seem like it can hardly do too much now.
That's... Excuse me?
It wasn't really that much to be worried about, but I suppose it could grow.
I see, that's the bat.
Speak up, speak up.
Well, you said... Well, last time you said she was a necromantic battery. Is that what made her a battery?
Well, it seems like the battery's been put to use.
Right. Hey, one thing I always wondered. What the hell does Salamanta mean?
I think you can probably guess. What do you think it is?
Oh, crap. I think it's either a place or a state of being.
Well, that's a very good start. Care to be a little more specific?
I think it's probably a place under the control of a Horn King, maybe?
Well, that it was, that it was. Want to venture something else?
I assume it's... Given the description I got, I assumed it was some other plane, maybe?
Related, but I think you'll find it's, well, it at least can be a little bit more mundane than you give it credit for.
I see. Is it related to the city of Broken?
Of course. Now, I think you may be getting confusing the one for the other. Other.
Is it to the north?
There we are. Now, that's not really much of a revelation, is it?
No. No, I guess that does make sense. And I think I have an idea where in the north it is to then. In that...
I think you do too.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a place where I can get to the City of Broken Shadows, even if they're not the same thing.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yes. Last time you said that was one of the options, or two options.
So, is there anything else I can do for you, Logie?
Yes.
Look at you, open-mouthed and clear-minded. Got a million questions and you can't think of one of them, can you?
No, it's like they all disappear in moments like this. Is the Veratus actually real?
Is what real now?
Well, I know that the Horn King called Cheloni is real, but is the Veratus actually a real thing?
Haha. It's a good question. It's a question that a lot of people have been wondering about for a long, long time. maybe less real than you'd think, but more real than you'd hope.
Right. That makes some amount of sense. Are there
Oh, why am I being cool
others?
with you? I'll tell you the truth. I killed Deveratus.
Ah, okay. That does make some amount of sense. So, are there others in contact with me than you, or is it just?
Oh, well, I'm certain there are others who'd like to be. And you've certainly touched other forces, though I wouldn't say they're the kind to exactly make contact.
I see. What's the deal with the crystal?
The crystal. You're going to have to be a lot more specific than that, mate.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Well, I remember something about. I remember someone claiming that the gods died, and that there are crystals that are pieces of them or something. Was he perhaps mistaken? Was he referring to the bastard gods instead of the gods people know?
Sort of contemplates for a second and says, I'm sorry, I don't think that this is exactly something that you or the other one know.
Right. And me or the other one? Do you just combine our knowledge?
I mean, I haven't told you anything that you don't already know. Maybe some of it you've repressed. Maybe some of it you got but never understood, listening at keyholes when Suetonius was holding his meetings. Some of it you've put together the pieces, but not consciously. This one, I don't think you really know.
No, I suppose not.
I'm not really me. You could say I'm just a fragment, a reflection that you fed, and I appreciate that greatly, but we're certainly not omnipotent or omniscient.
No, evidently not. Do I know any of your names from before?
Of course you do.
Can you tell me one of them?
Why don't you tell me what you think my name is?
Bob.
Come on, be serious with me.
Are you related to Harikanto?
All right, got it in one.
Ah, that does make sense. So you made the deck too?
I didn't make the deck. That was, someone else.
Ah, to credit though, I suppose.
Uh, you could say credit was given to me. You could ask Suetonius about that if you hadn't killed him. Ha ha!
Yes, I suppose I could. With between you or you, me, and Arcana, Do we know the names of any of the other members of the Pentarchy?
The other ones, others as opposed to whom?
Methesis, Edwarath.
Think you might be able to guess it a couple more.
Is the Habolith one?
You've got it.
There was a garden too somewhere. There's a name with that.
A garden?
Never mind. So, the old man that comes and goes, is he sent by you somehow?
Oh. Oh, you mean that one who's rather peculiar?
Yes, you could say he's a peculiar old man.
I go where I am called, or where the notion takes me. You hear that voice from behind you.
Okay. I turn around.
There he is, this peculiar old man. Very thin, wide brimmed hat, little bit of a slouch, blue eyes, looking like he did the last time you saw him.
Okay. And Logie just steps back and looks between the two.
You look between the two, but Suetonius is not there anymore.
What?
As you look back to the peculiar old man, you see that now he is holding that jar with the small nautilus inside of it.
Oh. Right.
You might say that I am something like you, or maybe even Vold, but a bit less capable.
Right. I feel like I should keep asking questions, but at the same time, if the others want us to keep going, I'm not sure if I should take up the entire session.
You could always come back. You know?
I suppose there's nothing actually
No, I like
stopping
this
that.
floor dump. Keep on going.
Okay.
Akana will be fine.
It's not
I
like
mean-
she's stuck or anything.
If he can only tell you things that you already know, there are some limitations.
Yeah, do what Logie would do.
I mean, other big questions is like Vold himself. I don't know, because that's obviously related.
The old man, was he Lapides?
I would think that the answer to that query is obvious.
Yeah. Nice to get confirmation.
The tide is rising. I
Yes, but-
have a modicum of curiosity whether you will be able to survive what you have allowed to occur.
What I have allowed.
Will you be much longer.
Ah, I suppose not. Um, can I bring alcohol?
Looks down to the jar. This one is spectacularly maintained in the present environment. What sort of reassurances do I have it might not have more deleterious effects if allowed to leave?
Well, you could end the problem somehow instead of just.
You can end the problem if you wish. And as you look down, Logi, you see that your packed musket is in your hand. Have you ever heard the phrase shooting fish in a barrel?
Please, for the love of serotonin, don't.
Oh my god, no!
I bet you this is how you have to get her out of here, for the record.
I don't believe so.
No, this is how you kill her. No.
What
Oh
makes you think
no!
any normal rules apply in this world, exactly?
No!
Is this like the Hunter's dream?
This is a
No.
shitty theory. Don't shoot her. Don't shoot Anonymous.
I don't think she's done anything to deserve that yet.
Yet.
Very well, this is an apt sell.
I think that if you let her go, there's a possibility we can go to the City of Broken Shadows, like we agreed last time, and we can solve this problem without just delaying the inevitable, because you can't keep something somewhere forever, no matter what it.
Roll a persuasion with advantage. I am not particularly versed in this school of logic, though I am not able to deny the cogency of certain points. Very well. He pushes the jar into your hands, and you almost stagger under the weight of it. Even though it's not a large jar at all, it feels immense. It feels like the biggest thing you've ever carried. And as you hold on to it, you can see your feet sinking into the mud, sinking your waist, the jar, your hands, your shoulders, your head. And then you're back in the cavern. Logi and Notrix and Dawn, you at that moment were turned away, discussing with each other what you would do, what happened now that Logi and Alcana have both disappeared. You look around to see Logi and Alcana both caked in mud, Alcana sort of half consciously and awkwardly draped over the shorter Logi.
Akana, Logi!
Oh, thank Gothics.
Okay, we don't need dynamite. Oh.
We weren't going to use dynamite. That was a terrible idea,
I'm just
Don.
saying. I'm just saying it might have worked, you know?
Blowing things up isn't the answer.
I don't know. It was a door. What if he blew through the door? I don't know, man. What happened to you two?
Does O'Connor remember anything from that, or was it just a blank?
I think it's just a blank for her.
Why, I don't remember anything.
Loki?
I was the same place as before, but Alcana, I think you had a different sort of reaction.
No kidding!
Uh,
Uh,
how long was Logie in there?
Maybe about 20 minutes.
Okay, thank God.
at least it wasn't months this time.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
Oh God. Don't do that again. Alright,
No.
no
Yeah.
more play with this door.
I don't suppose you saw the crystal while you're in there.
Well, I guess I can just ask this out of character. Was the crystal the thing that held Arcana in Nautilus form?
No.
I wondered if that was the case. In that case, no.
So yeah, weren't able to get it back.
I suppose there's nothing directly stopping us from going back there again and again,
Right.
except for the tide.
Yeah, I mean, this time it was only 20 minutes, but what if next time you don't come back out for like 20 years?
I don't think it's as much as. I don't think it's necessarily as much as time passes faster, as much as you might forget things.
Weird.
What happened? Ugh,
You
that was
were
a bad idea.
you weren't yourself. I saw you in there.
Yes, and there's just like this kind of subtle look of like both mix of like recognition, curiosity, and kind of oh crap in her face.
Well, you didn't. You didn't look human.
Really now.
What does she look like?
Sort of like a nautilus.
And yeah, with that, her eyes are just like wide as saucers. I'm sorry, what?
A big one?
No, no, no. A heavy one, but she was small, like you could hold her in your hands.
Yeah. She looks kind of like shocked, but not entirely unsurprised at hearing this.
Yes, I think we have a clearer idea of what's going on now.
Do
There's-
tell.
There's something I didn't tell you.
What did you not
Uh,
tell me?
Well, about the last time I was in.
Yeah.
This man, he looks like someone I know called Suetonius, but that's not really who he is. Well, I suppose it doesn't hurt to say that. I think we know he's Harry Canto.
You saw
What?
Harry Kanto?
Like the
Well, I didn't.
Zanash Sherikato?
I didn't see him. I saw part of him, but anyway, I don't think that's important. Last time I was here, he told me something. You see,
Sherikato?
before I even learned about what you guys had been doing on the Isle of Juniper while I was away, I did come to know some. He told me that you, Arcana, it's something he called a necromantic bat. And he told me that you were a danger to the world. I think you already knew that.
Yes, the very thing that I've been so afraid of.
And he presented me at last with a choice before things went dark, before the place began to collapse.
And what
He
was that?
presented me with a choice, and that was, I mean, I should say that the choice was on how to prevent things from getting worse. He presented me with a choice that, well, he might have possibly. He said that I should either kill you or bring you to a place called the City of Broken Shadows.
I'm sorry, what?
Well,
Listen, I don't like this guy very much.
I guess you're not the
Yeah,
first
no
person.
kidding, especially after all we know. Why should we trust him?
I mean, you're not the first person to suggest killing O'Connor, but I think we'd all rather not have to do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes, and well, he said that the killing part would be a lot simpler than going to this City of Broken Shadows.
I mean, obviously, we could probably just kill her right now. No offense.
Sweet Sarah Doman, help me!
Don doesn't laugh. Okay.
But what I learned was maybe something we've been suspecting. Salamanta, which I forgot to ask him, but which I think we assume is Chelonius's place of power or something. It's to the, and that this Salamanta place is somehow close to the City of Broken Shadows, that it would be easier to get there from there.
So, where is the city?
Do you remember the symbols I saw on the map? Well, here in
Yes?
this cavern, actually, I found the clues to another spot, which I assume is where Salamanta is.
Which one is that?
And if we can show the map, please.
Here they are. Way ahead of you.
I believe it should be here. Or one of those two. Actually, I'm not actually sure.
I suspect it is the one further north.
Yes, I do too.
And yeah, you can just see Alcana just kind of like angling her eyes away from the group, and she looks like she's in something of a cold sweat.
Isn't that the place where the Grey Forge is?
I believe
I mean,
the
probably
Grey.
not there exactly, but you know.
I believe the Grey Forge left the marker in the center of the room. That being the garden of the Pentacle. Although I haven't gotten confirmation on that, but I plan to.
Yeah, so there's something there.
Well. So Arcana is a bastard necromantic entity?
And I suspect it's because of whatever happened to Johann getting passed on to me. That seems to make the most logical sense to me. The, well, curse as we called it.
I've never seen any magic on you. And Noshi just looks at Arcana and casts detect magic. Just to,
I mean, you don't detect things other than what you would expect to detect in here.
or is the door magic? I guess
There
that's a
is
question.
magic on that spot on the wall where the door, or at least where the door was.
I guess that's to be expected. Yes, you don't appear particularly necromantic, given my detect magic spell. I would have noticed. I've
Yes.
cast it plenty of times in your presence.
I guess is that you can turn it on and off, you know?
Yes. So yes, I thought you should know by now. When I first came back, well, I tried keeping a bit of an eye on you to find out what the right
Well, if it's my conscious intention, I want to guard this world, not be a danger to it. I think you should know that quite well by now.
Yes.
Well, either way, you know, Nia's been waiting out there for like an hour. I say we make our way out and talk about this later.
Yeah. So I guess you'd fill us in on. I don't know. Would Logie just say like off camera, just fill us in on all the questions he asked, or at least most of them?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what I actually garnered of relevance aside from that, but sure, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
A few things.
So as you guys eventually make your way out of the cavern, Logi using his using another spell slot to poof him and Alcana out, you find that Nia is not where you left her. Though it has gotten later in the afternoon. This has been a few hours that this whole odyssey has taken. Um, but finally, into the early evening, you do meet up with her again, just in time for the Friar's Eve prayer. You find that a large sort of space has been set up in front of the church, and it's while in the past the Friars Eve prayer has been more of a kind of a benediction in the church and then a reception after. It seems like this has been built much more reception or performance minded. And there's a large stage that has been set up in front of the church and several more like tables than pews, like round tables with different people with seating groups around them. And you can see that there are actually some instruments set up towards the back of this stage. Um, yeah, all kind of your parents have met you, but they've actually at this moment gone to sit with some of the other people from the town. Actually, you see that they go to sit with the governor. It seems like your mom and he are on decent terms right now, more so than when you were here. And it seems that the five of you are at a table on your own as this prayer gets ready to commence this event.
I guess one thing I probably should say, because I just remembered it, is that previously Logi had only told Alistair of the thing Kiaroku said about the gods being dead. And well, I think he might tell that to the others now. I think probably not Elkana, at least not yet. Since yeah, so maybe not all the information there. So that would seem a bit inappropriate given the occasion.
Nia too?
And yeah, Alkana's probably still kinda a bit out of it after hearing the fact that somebody told her, one of her friends, to kill her.
Wait, so Logie is mentioning that he was told that the gods were killed?
Yeah, I think he would tell that to at least to Notrix and maybe the other members of the group, but not Alcana because of the festival going on and how probably more important that is to her than the rest of them. And, you know, he doesn't actually know what it means. We can have a scene with about that if you want. Depends on how much time.
I mean, I'd dig it.
I mean, I'm sure Nostrix would be pretty pissed that Guthix and Zabrak are dead. That sucks.
Or could be there's a lot of alleged and air quotes involved in all this.
Okay, well, I did have. Let me think. What I did have something prepared for not scratches. This, what was it? I guess yeah, we can do a scene.
Okay. I guess we can ask like Ron. Do you want us to take that as an aside later after this prayer? Or do we
No, this can happen anytime you want. You know, it might even be that you guys got here a little early and you're on your own at this table at the sort of towards the back of this area, or it can be somewhere else. It's up to you.
Okay. Wherever we're sitting, can there be, just for dramatic effect, like a symbol of Saradomin or some sort of religious symbol nearby that we can look at?
Holy symbol in the middle of the table.
Sure, you're sitting towards the edge of the sort of large series of lawns that mark the path to the Chapel of Saradomin here in Ashdale itself, or Cathedral Chapel, I forget which one. But there's, yeah, kind of marking it, a large symbol of Saradomin kind of on a wooden hanging sign where your table is seated right underneath.
Yeah, so Logi just gazes up at this symbol and he says, looks to Notrix and he says, there is one other thing I should.
Well, it seems like you're full of mysteries today.
Yes, I don't like to keep any more secrets, but in this case, I'm not sure what reaction it would have if I told. I've only told Alistair this before. Back on Kanoka, when I visited the Infamous Retreat, I talked with Kiaroku. And one of the things he claimed was that, well, magic came to the Eastern Lands from the West. It was brought to the Eastern Lands by Harikanto, which, yeah. But the thing is, the nature of that magic, Kirokus claimed that the gods of the West had died, and that their followers kept their memory alive, and that pieces of them, fragments, I think crystals, were brought to the Eastern Lands as sources of magic.
Oh, well, that's a very bold claim.
The gods are dead? Like died? Like mortals died? I thought they weren't supposed to die. Also, I imagine Dawn's like hiding behind Natrix's cloak or something.
I don't actually know what it means.
I don't believe that the gods are dead. Guthix went to sleep 2 ages ago. If
Who
there
told
are
you this again?
if there are dead gods, I think Guthix might have been the one that killed them. Or if I were to hazard a guess based on my own beliefs.
That would make some sense, I suppose. Yes, it was Kioroku. He said that the gods were dead and that pieces of them survived.
Uh,
But what I could never figure out was, well, does he actually mean the gods we know, or was it something else? Like maybe the bastard gods we've been hearing about.
Well, if it is Harakanto, the bastard gods might have some sort of sense to it. But, well, because he did help create them.
Yeah.
Surely, at least Saradomin must be alive.
Hmm.
I mean, if all the
I'm not
gods are dead,
so sure.
yeah, what makes you think Saradomin would be alive? I kind of see why you didn't tell Akana now. Oh, yikes.
But, we've seen Arcana, Joaquin, we've seen them pray to Saradomin, and, well, to great effect.
Yes, but
Yeah.
how do we know there's someone there and not just something? How do we know it's just not magic or belief or whatever?
Well, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And,
In this case, isn't both the gods being alive and the gods being dead extraordinary claim?
well, from my perspective, the gods being alive is the baseline. And if I were a statistician, I would say the null hypothesis. But not just a statistician. Yes, the gods being alive is the baseline expectation. In order to prove otherwise, well, this one person said this, but there's not a lot of evidence for it.
Hmm.
Right.
Nia finally gets because you guys have been talking about a few things that like Harikanto and all that confused her. I mean, she knows who Harikanto is. She knows about the bastard gods. Not a connection to them or between the two. But what does it matter if they're dead?
I think it's a sort of existential question, really.
Well, Guffix he's the role model of all druids. He's the one that tasked us to keep the balance. We keep the balance, so that, well, he doesn't have to, I suppose.
Exactly. So if he's dead, what is there that changes?
Well, it would mean if the druids fail to keep balance, well, Guffix is supposed to come and restore balance. Well, he's supposed to come remake the world, but that is a matter of theological debate. But yes, if we fail, he is meant to come in and restart everything.
He's basically Plan B.
Yeah. But I suppose druidic magic isn't as much of a prayer like I'd say Saradomin's magic is. So that's not as much evidence.
Hmm. But here's what I think. If it turns out that Saradomin is dead, unless we're wrong or have misinterpreted something, then whatever Alcana is doing, I think it's probably important that she believes in what she's doing. And if we shake up that belief, I think it could have consequences.
I don't think we have any reason to I don't have any reason to particularly believe any of this. It is a troubling idea, but this is coming from... Well, this is coming from an Easterner, and we know their knowledge about gods is extremely limited.
He did have a map though of all the occult places, so he had to know something beyond his corner of the world.
So what you're saying is that he's kind of credible.
I do think there's probably more to this than we realize, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
At this point, I think you see Alkana starting to make her way back to your table.
Immediately, Logie just grabs for his drink and starts inconspicuously just drinking.
Constitution saving throw.
Got him.
You drink too fast.
It's actually vodka, and you're drinking a whole bunch of it.
Ah.
Yeah, you manage to make it look pretty natural, and you don't end up having water go down the wrong pipe.
And anyway,
Well, that was a little boring, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the weather's nice today too. I dive back under into the cloak.
oh Alcana, you missed the funniest story I had about the time I got caught in a storm out in the middle of the Gnome Lands. Hilarious.
Sounds a bit more exciting than seeing a bunch of relatives I haven't seen in years, getting paraded through that.
At this point, you see a hush starting to come over the crowd as Eliza approaches the dais, sort of at the front of the stage. Was it Reverend Eliza or Vicar Eliza? I'm
I
sorry.
think it was Vicar.
Yeah, Vicar Eliza. And she, in her trademark, sort of very animated way, talks a little bit about the importance of this festival, about what it means to sort of set aside for the coming winter, to prepare, to stockpile, to sort of give the last feast, the last hurrah before a time of some austerity, looking forward to the blooms of spring and to the reviving of the fish once more. And as she gets to the end of her little spiel, she says, and now we have as a very special presentation, thanks to the sponsorship of Falador, they have very graciously offered to have one of their own senior knights speak. So I would like you all to please introduce Sir Wyndham Bright, a lieutenant to Grandmaster Vile, who is leading Falador's efforts in the north, and once a teacher of no less than Sir Kate Ian. Now, Sir Wyndham Bright. And there's some scattered applause. It's definitely some more enthusiastic and some that's more tepid.
Yeah, I think Logie probably raises an eyebrow and gets a bit more attentive when he says, "Teacher of Sir Katian?"
Surely, Logie knows all about Sir Wyndham Bright from his extensive knowledge of the Circadian canon.
Oh, kind
Sir
of
Katian
fucking
canon.
perfunctory at best. Like, you can tell it's more, she's doing it more to not stand out in the social situation than she does to actually applauding the guy. She looks pretty damn awkward right now. Just in general constitution.
Yeah, is this guy part of the extended Circadian canon, or is this new information?
I think you might have seen the name mentioned once or twice, but is definitely not part of the adventure stories that you're familiar with. Not part of any of the really big name legends. So you see, kind of hobbling up to the stage is a very aged man. He's wearing armor, but he seems to be kind of swimming in it. Got a very square face, a little bit of a double chin. You can see white hair, a little bit unkempt on either side of his otherwise bald head. And he sort of takes the stage. He sort of holds his gauntleted hand to his throat, and then his voice speaks, magically amplified, and he says, "It is always important, the restoration of granaries, of supplies, of the very essence of community before a harsh winter. Friar, farewell. It was much like Sarah Dolman stepping upon the lands of Entrana when he and his companions set foot on Ashdale and established this town. When the winter was harsh, he knew that it was coming, that he would prepare in the fall, and so he and his companions set forth to hunt the pearl cod. They fished north of the island, where they found 3 giant pearl cod. Then they sailed east. They fished southeast of the island. And this whole thing goes on and on. You see a few people kind of fall asleep during this tedious speech. Though finally, at the end of it, after a long account of each and every place these pearl cod were caught and exactly how he cooked them, this sermon, if you can call it that, ends. Eliza comes up and sort of gives a forced clap towards him and says, "Oh, well, thank you very, very much, Sir Wyndham Bright. That was a wonderful sermon. And now, to round out the Friar's Eve prayer, we will have a few baked goods as refreshments, while also courtesy of Falador, the well-loved crooner Flip Rupertson and his bards will play for us." And you see that these bards in blue blazers take the stage, sort of setting up with these instruments behind. And one of them, this kind of pencil-necked, weak-chinned guy with a very square haircut and dark-rimmed horn glasses, gets to the front, and you see that one of the knights also seems to cast the same sort of thing on his throat to make his voice boom.
Oh shit. The silence.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you guys want to talk amongst yourselves while this is happening.
It's the sound of silence.
As Guardian Bard. Never any good.
I think he's gonna sing about Circadian again. Like the
Probably.
other guy.
Somehow this is the musical episode.
Do it!
Oh, when the jolly jester jingles by, well, I almost cry. Sounds just like the bells on the day you went so far away. You're the apple of my eye, and so you can't deny the things I'll say to you But in the still of the night, that's when I'll hold you so tight, and you can't hide from the love our love was meant to be. See, you belong to me. A bond of order never ever breaks, even if you make mistakes. This bond was meant, and that's why you'll repent. And all my dreams come true. And in the still of the night, that's when I'll hold you so tight, and you can't hide from the love our love was meant to be. The love our love was meant to be. The love our love was meant to be.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! Encore!
Music episode.
That was really something.
Oh my god! Ah, it's so good! Wait, real fast, are you writing these? Like songs and shit? DM? Anakin?
Eh?
Are you like writing these songs?
I don't know.
That's a yes.
That's a yes. He's just all flustered and all cute. Oh my god, dude! Hell yeah! Encore, good job.
Woo!
Oh.
Did anyone else just disconnect from Roll20?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Can handle the music.
Oh,
No.
damn.
Oh, yes.
Please don't stop the music.
Who needs Roll20 when you have music?
Mama say, mama say, mama say.
Who needs
So,
roll
yeah.
20 when you're rolling?
Yeah, as Flip Rupertson and his bards play, these simple baked goods are distributed. There's, juice and coffee. It's very much, after church recreation room sort of thing. But it's
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
ends up being a nice little evening, as despite the strangeness in the middle of the Friar's Eve prayer.
Are the waffles?
Why not?
Why
Okay,
not?
I want
There
to
are
take some
waffles. This
waffles.
is canon. Okana
I-
would definitely help herself to some stuff.
Yeah, I firmly believe that waffles are the most sacred of Sarah Dominus today.
Waffles,
I would like to
except
say-
instead of the little squares on them, it's shaped in Ceradamian style,
Yo!
like the press.
Yes, this is canon.
Yes!
Okay.
Wait, is it pancakes that are the way of chaos?
Yes.
Yeah,
So that means waffles are the way of Saradomin.
yeah. It's all these. Waffles have all these lines on it. It's very orderly. Yeah. And the unlined pancake is corruption of the nice orderly waffle.
Dawn definitely sneaks a waffle under I think I was under like Notrix's cloak, but I could hop from cloak to cloak to maximize waffle sneaking.
Maximize waffle sneaking.
Yes, of course.
Do you really need to sneak the waffles, though?
Well, I can't be seen. Unless Ashdale's cool with fairies around.
Okana has no idea how they'd react, so she really couldn't tell you either way.
I think Alcana would probably know enough about her community to think that people would be to see a fairy in the flesh would draw a lot of attention.
Yep, there would be a lot of attention, so it's probably best to Okay, maybe there is a legitimate reason for waffle sneaking. Don't listen to me.
I think Notrix is polite, but it does seem like
Have some crumbs in her
Oh.
cloak.
I think I lost internet
I
connection.
think
for a
she's
second there.
too much caught up in her own mind and her own dessert to really notice right now.
You're gonna have ants in here later. But nah. Now the tooth collection in your cloak pocket is keeping them away. Don't worry.
Ah,
Does anyone have a spell to preserve food?
I'm sure
Ask
there
me-
is a
ask me
spell that
for-
makes. Let me see.
are we really talking about sneaking waffles right now?
Yeah, I don't think you
I-
understand how important this is.
Well, I don't have to sneak a waffle. I can just take it because I'm not a conspicuous fairy. But I was wondering whether any of you had magic that would let me enjoy the waffles much later in the campaign when I really need.
We have like spells that make water become clear and shit, but not I don't think we have food.
There is a specific
Um,
true spell for this.
I mean, I have gentle repose, which stops corpses from rotting.
I don't think that works on waffles.
That's
I don't
not a
know.
spell.
I'd rule that it works on waffles.
It works on waffles.
Necromantically preserve the waffle.
Excellent. How many waffles are we bringing with us for future use?
Well, it only lasts like 10 days.
As
And you
many
need to
as
put a
the
copper piece on top of the waffle.
as long as like the people don't get pissed, as many as we can, until we get kicked out.
Yeah, in the middle of this ceremonious prayer, Notrix is chanting this dark necromantic ritual just to preserve waffles.
Bro. Yes.
Although actually, it's probably the nicest form of necromancy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any nicer necromancy than waffle preservation?
Is there a spell that's called like purify food and drink?
Yes,
yeah,
there
there
is.
is.
That is also a spell.
I mean,
Purify.
that doesn't.
It's not a druid spell.
It doesn't. It is a druid spell.
It is.
I also
Yes.
have it.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
All right, we do
preserve.
have that then.
It just gets
But,
rid
like-
of poison. I mean, unless you consider rot a poison.
Okay, how about
Well, say
this?
it rots, right? And
how
then we
how
cast
about
it.
this? How about this?
Yeah.
Who brought these waffles in?
Probably just one of the older women affiliated with the church here.
Okay, I'm going to walk up to her, and ask her for the waffle recipe.
Brave man.
Oh. Well, you know, I'm not sure if I'm willing to just give that out. I've won a few competitions with this waffle recipe of mine.
I assure you, it's only for personal use.
Huh. You're not from Ashdale, are you? I mean, I don't mean to offend, just I didn't think that we had anyone of the dwarvish persuasion here. Not that it's anything wrong if you are a new resident here. I mean, I think it's great to have more non-humans on Ashdale. Like you know, one of my best friends is a gnome.
Overcompensate.
Right. Well, you know, I think that. Well, I was thinking of just using it for myself, but you know, I could also, you know, help you spread the word, make people come here for your waffle.
Oh, you think that dwarves would come all the way from Keldegrim to Ashdale just for my waffles?
Trust me. If there's waffles are like the number 3 things dwarves like best after rocks and ore, which are kind of the same thing, but are listed separate.
I knew dwarves ate rocks. My friends thought I was crazy. Okay. All right. All right. I'll write down the recipe for you, but don't show this to anyone, okay? Or else there'll be hell to pay, mister.
Yes, don't worry. I won't show it to anyone.
She quickly scribbles down the waffle recipe on the back of a napkin in sort of very discreetly, like she does sort of an eyes to either side and sort of squares her shoulders and then like slips it behind her with her hand in a weird position to make it, like a very unnatural acting natural, slips it to you.
Okay, I take it. I just realized as a dwarf, I just said something racist about dwarves, which is sort of something wrong.
Yeah, you're speaking our
Do
language.
we need to bring back the not all dwarves hashtag?
Yeah. Well, we can just say she didn't properly understand all the nuances of what I was saying. Well, but okay. With this recipe, are any stores still open on Ashdale?
Could you say that one more time?
Are there any stores still open on Ashdale?
Yeah, there are probably a few places that are still open.
Okay, I would like to purchase one waffle iron.
Yeah.
Do those exist?
A waffle iron or a waffle iron?
Well, the thing is, like, I think waffles are older than electricity. Just the waffle irons were just, two big old hunks of wrought iron or steel or whatever that you'd put over a heat source.
They were
Yeah,
created in
yeah.
the 18th century. 1725 to be exact.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
pancakes and stuff are like from ancient Greece, so we can say that waffles are older in this universe.
So I figured out you could put a grill under
Wait, so-
pancakes. Bam.
Yeah, so you look around, sort of out back to the open air market, and a lot of places are shut down, but a few are still have lights on in front of them. And one of them is kind of like a semi-open place, the Martis Smithy. You enter and you see this kind of middle-aged man, large eyes that kind of have bags under them. But yeah, he does happen to have a set, the waffle iron, the two halves of it, that he's willing to sell you for. Let me look at my loot table.
Oh, that's a very detailed loot table if you know what waffle irons cost.
Yeah.
I don't have waffle irons, but I have something a bit specific. Not specific, a bit related. Yeah, he's
Private.
willing to sell you this set of waffles. Like each half of it goes for 1 gold.
Wow, that's actually kind of expensive when you think about it.
It's
but okay.
it's a pretty complex thing to smith.
Yeah. Well, I'm willing to pay 2 gold for this wonderful thing.
How much bludgeoning damage does a waffle iron?
Probably
Good.
1d4.
Good question.
I mean, it's a big, heavy piece of metal.
What if it's hot?
Then it would also do 1d6 fire damage.
Sure.
Hey.
Okay. Just gotta keep running this waffle thing.
Okay. So what I think we should do now is that we should work on the engine of the broken wave so that while it is running, it can also be used as an oven. That we can insert this waffle iron in to heat it up.
Where has this genius been all campaign? Where has the genius been?
Just stick both halves of the waffle iron in the coal furnace.
That
Well,
probably
is
would
the-
work, to be honest.
Eh.
This is
Be a
the
bit
best idea.
smoked, I guess. I feel like probably wouldn't work when it's like full steam ahead, but like if it's just burning just a little bit, then it would basically just be a grill.
Yeah, coal-fired oven.
Yeah. That is
God.
perfect. I love this.
So now we have the ability to make waffles.
Okay, I would also like, while I'm here, to spend money on purchasing ingredients for waffles.
Yeah, that's very easy. You can find all the ingredients for like a silver.
Excellent.
At the general store.
Yeah.
Didn't expect Tanoob show vibes to be in here. I love it.
So, does anyone else get up to any shenanigans, or is it just Logie and his quest for waffles?
I don't think any of us can top that.
I don't think any of us can top the shenanigans. I'm thinking Alcana might just need a moment to recover from all of that.
Yeah. I think as the evening winds down, you head back to Martin and Olette Theresis, and you know the Alcana, your childhood bedroom is still there. They've got a sofa. They maybe set up like some pillows and sort of do a few makeshift beds. Maybe they've got a hammock or something. Enough for the four visible members of the party to get a comfortable enough place to sleep.
So, oh, okay. Now, it came together. I was gonna ask like where exactly are we sleeping, but like you said it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem for Dawn to find a place to sleep.
we've imposed ourselves on Arcana's parents. No problem.
I mean, I was just assuming that you guys would stay there. I mean, you can pay for an inn if you want to.
Hell no.
I mean, if
You
they're
know,
okay
I
with it.
read something a while back that this kind of thing was a lot more normal in pre-moderns. Like people would just show up and stay for months, because of course you can't contact someone and let them know that you'll be there immediately. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more acceptable in this kind of setting.
Back in the day, you didn't have like phones to be like, "Hey, mom, I'm coming over. Pick me up at the airport." You showed up and you're like, "Hey, mom." You know?
So, Alcana, it's early the next morning. You maybe otherwise would have indulged yourself in sleeping a little bit later here. You know, this is your first night in a few nights sleeping on solid ground and not the inherently uncomfortable process of sleeping on board of a boat. When you hear the sound, oh yeah, Dunn doesn't need to sleep. Anyways, you hear a sound of pain from downstairs that you recognize as your father. You get up and go to the door, you can hear it, and you realize it's not actually something dire, but it's more this annoyed sound, and it's like, I told you I'm fine. Just let go of me. And no, you and your dumb machismo. Come on, we're gonna get you up into bed. I'm fine. No, we're going to get you up into bed, and you're not participating in that stupid boat race.
Is something wrong?
Yes, your father decided to show how much of a man he is by moving one of the large tables for the feast by himself. And it is clearly stated on signs all around and under each table that you need at least 3 people to lift one of them. But no, he decided that he could do it all by himself, and so he's pulled his shoulder. It wasn't like that. Look, someone was supposed to be helping me. Come on, come on.
Hold on. I think I can have something for that. How many points of lay on hands would it be to fix my, well, clearly, well, stubborn father?
Let me see. I'll say it's 5 points of lay on hands.
All right then. Now please don't go doing anything like that again.
Oh wow! Look at that. That's swell. The pain's almost completely gone.
Yes.
I mean, I know that you learned about that sort of a thing with the shield swarm, but, well, it's a whole other thing entirely to see it in action. Oh, how about that?
Yes, but like Mom said, please, please don't stretch yourself too thin. You have no need for that kind of thing.
She's right, you know. And I don't think that you should participate in that silly boat race. I've already registered. It's going on today. Oh, come on. Did you say the same thing to the governor when he decided to participate? That's only because you egged him on. I did not egg him on. Martin, you are going to stay here. You are going to relax. I know she already healed you, but you're going to relax and you are not going to do anything else stupid today. Besides, you're too old to be going out and participating in this silly, what is it, battle boats fishing contest? I am not. I'll kind of speak some sense into your mother.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to take her side on this one.
We're already registered and everything. Well, Kana, why don't you take out the boat then? I mean, you'd still be sailing in the Theresa's name, getting us out there, fishing up those pearl cod. I know you can do it. You were an ace with the fishing lines back when you were a kid.
And well, let's just say it's a skill that served me quite well ever since. Yes, I'm sure I could I could manage it fine.
Oh, that's
Again,
swell.
it would be nice.
That's swell.
Nice diversion. Yes, a nice diversion indeed.
And your mom kind of fixes you with a glance and she says, well, I certainly trust you out on the water far more than I do your father. And you did sail here on your own, well, you and your friends.
And on my own vessel, too.
Oh, you have your own vessel?
Oh, yes, I suppose that I didn't really show you it last time. It's. Well, it's of dwarven make.
A dwarven make? Oh, I'm not even sure. Oh, well, there was that old dwarven boat that used to dock here sometimes. Well, that is certainly something you need to show me it when you have the chance. I'm not sure if you will today if you're participating in the fishing contest. What did you christen her?
She is the Broken Wave.
Oh, very evocative. Well, I'll see to it that your father gets started on breakfast since he can hold a frying pan now, but I'll make sure that he does not do anything else foolish today, at least not until the actual feast.
Well, I trust you to look after that.
So, as the morning continues, everyone else wakes up. I don't know if Notrix has a parrot on his shoulder or if Don is just hiding under a cloak.
I would say until we get into public, Don will hide under his cloak so he can save that hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think Don can stay. He can stay a parrot for 2 hours now.
I'll be a
And
parrot.
actually, he can string them together to make it a total of 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a parrot.
Anyways, so the 5 of you have another nice little meal, a humble meal, not quite the spread that it was as the celebratory welcome home brunch of the day before. And then as the morning continues, you all eventually head out towards the pier where they are set up for the fishing contest. And you can spot, as there's not that thick marine layer that was the day before, even from a distance, the very ostentatious ships that have been set up, supplied by Falador. They look like they probably were once fairly humble fishing vessels, but they've been set up with like these quarter decks and forecastles on either side, festooned with colorful flags, large, very ostentatious but also cheap-looking sails on them, and cannons on either side of them, and what look like these large, almost like balloons on their prows. And you see that there's sort of a crowd gathered there. There's a little bit of a registration set up for each of the participants, and you sign yourselves in. It seems like there are 10 fishing crews in total for this event. But as you see, as all of the crews start to assemble, a knight with his helmet off, definitely swarthy, kind of sea wind battered face, and gets up before all of you and he says, "Well, welcome everyone to the Pride of Pearl Cod Cast. This is our first annual event sponsoring the Feast of Friar Farewell. We hope to sponsor many more. This is a fantastic cultural institution, and well, we're excited to mix it up a little bit this time. So, you will have 2 hours out on the water to catch as many pearl cod as you can. However, there is a twist to it this time. You will be taking one of the boats that Falador has provided, a special fishing cog, or as we call them, bumper cogs. And as you look to them, what you assumed were flags festooning all of them, you can actually see that they're draped over, now that you're closer, these bales of hay that have been like lashed to the sides of each of these boats, like in just a ring around them. And he says, "We'll fish up as many pearl cods as you can, but you can also go on the offensive. Each of these ships is outfitted with sponge cannons, and the more marks that a ship has on its sails, well, the more are counted against its total count of pearl cod. And if you get too many of them, well, unfortunately, your crew will be disqualified. Now remember, the pearl cod are timid. They'll disperse soon after they've been targeted, so you're going to have to move around while evading your enemies. And we have a fabulous cash prize for whoever brings back the most pearl cod and the fewest sponge marks on their ship. So, crews, are you ready to set out and get to fishing?"
Yeah!
I guess so.
Don yells from like the cloak.
And as you spread out over the pier, seeing these cogs, and it seems like there are 3 models of them. One that looks a bit sturdier, one that looks maybe a bit faster, and one that you see is outfitted with a couple more cannons than the other ones. We'll go ahead and close out this session